like taking up all this space. Hello.
That's what space is for.
That's right.
It's to
This
just
jacket
take
is
up.
enormous too, so it like really, I feel like I have a wingspan.
I have to change something here. There
I
we
see.
go.
I see.
And it is changed because the title had a typo.
But that feels very appropriate.
Of course.
For
of
me.
course. Very much. so.
Creatino.
This isn't out jacketing me.
This is a very large jacket. I purposely got it oversized. It looks great when I'm walking around, but when I'm sitting, it is one of those ones that kind of goes. But I love this jacket. It's one of my favorites.
When we were Solars, we felt compelled to be together and became friends. Now we're literally coworkers. Is that how we're defining this? Is that how Datafall is going to go?
That's it. We're actually we're so not fans of each other that any NPC we come across just has to be like a deliverer of information for us.
Yep.
Can you please tell Blazing Chrome that his fly's undone? Like that kind of stuff. Just really like, we don't even want to.
You're going to take like tape and put it down the center of the persistence and be like, that's your side of the ship.
Yeah.
This is our side of the ship.
Set 1 foot on my side and I'll fucking kill you. That kind of vibe. Indeed. Well, hi everyone.
That's all fair. This is our third and final character creation stream for our upcoming Exalted campaign Datafall. We have Elizabeth here.
Hello.
And
I'm from this fucking city.
And honestly, what I've been looking forward to is just after this, that means that the characters are out there. We are not going to have that awkward stepping around. We definitely aren't going to have accidental name reveals. Shit.
There were some Easter eggs in the Discord today.
Where? Could you find them?
Yeah, did you find them? We're nothing if not subtle.
We are running a cyberpunk shard of Exalted. It's still creation, but it's creation with a layer painted over top of it. And a lot of what we're doing with that is going to become apparent today based on the character that we're about to build here with Elizabeth, based on things that her character is going to be carrying, based on things that her character is going to be doing, backstory that we're not going to be discussing, some backstory that we are going to be discussing. But overall, what we're really looking for is getting the experience of Exalted, the high action, high fantasy, high drama that you're always going to see in those things, just giving it a little bit of a shift. We've already played a couple of Exalted campaigns on this channel. It's a way for us to experience something a little bit new, but we're going to dive in. We're going to take a little bit of time just to get to know your character. But first and foremost, we're going to go right up in here.
Hey.
And I'm going to ask you what your character's name is.
Odds on favorite. Yes. And I think I've been writing it with a small second-o, like on is not capitalized.
Oh, it might have done that automatically. It's
Stop trying to help us autocorrect. We don't want your help. Yeah, so yeah, hyphen between the S and the O, yeah.
Now, odds on favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's an evocative name.
Yeah.
How'd you come to this?
I literally looked up horse racing. And when I'm coming up with names, especially Exalted names, I just like choose a kind of niche topic and I go on like Wikipedia and I just keep scrolling until something pops out at me that sounds like it could be an Exalted name. And I saw odds on favorite and I was like, that's awesome. I love it and it can be shortened to odds. This is great. So yeah, that is the beginning and the end of my inspiration.
Scott's been playing too much Musamame Pretty Derby or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
So
of course.
Now he assumes that you're playing a horse.
Yeah, I am.
Excellent. Well, what caste is your horse?
I am A chosen of secrets. Sidereal.
Secret Lunar. Zablica was
Yep.
holding on to it right to the end.
Secret lunar. I'm a horse. Na 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 na.
I can't wait for the first
Yay.
fan art of just to come out, and it's
Yep.
just like 2 Sidereals and a horse.
It goes from Ray buys ride to odds is ride. She's just a little, it's just her head. Oh god. So good.
Gil 0 for 3 for cast this campaign, but you weren't for the campaign itself.
Yeah.
You got that, so you don't have to worry about that. Hidden horse stuff.
Like, I really do have to say, I'm going back to the Easter egg thing. Like, I wrote, oh dang dis stream, which spells odds. And then when I told Kate I did that, she wrote, okay, now for a very obnoxiously unoriginal redaction, I tell everyone, which is on favorite. Kate's a freaking genius. So, but I just had to really showcase that. It's so good.
Would I ever run a campaign with PCs as the same cast or clan or tribe or whatever split? Absolutely. As long as every character had the chance to take spotlight when appropriate. I would probably feel a little weird if for some reason, say, the character sheets were identical.
Mm-hmm.
That would feel a little weird.
We're just 3 clones. We've never done that before.
But yeah, overlap is not something that I'm terribly worried about as long as everybody feels like they have an opportunity to shine. Because remember, the other thing that's kind of important about Exalted specifically is that so much of the power comes through in charms as opposed to abilities or attributes. And while each of the splats have their own cast abilities, your favorite abilities are there to flesh out the character. So there will always be some overlap. Especially if you have more than 4 characters in your circle, then it's kind of difficult to have. I mean, I suppose you could have melee, brawl, martial arts, thrown, and archery represented as 5. But even then, you're starting to get a little bit into the weeds as to like, how am we all going to stand out? You don't have to. It's fine. It's gonna be okay.
Judging by what I know of each of our PCs, I think we're gonna have no problem standing out in this particular arrangement. Right.
That's true. And it's also true, Mr. Rich, that grabbing different martial arts makes you feel quite different. Scott, in fact, on his character has made some changes. He'll have to describe those changes himself, but we're not here for Scott today. He's
I mean, we're
dead to us.
we're here for Scott.
Oh, we're always here for Scott.
We're here. We're seated for Scott.
But
But
do you have a concept that you want to throw down there?
yeah, my little elevator pitch is Fortune Fibster. Yeah.
The fuck does that mean?
It's a play on words, and I liked how it sounded. I really just chose that for the vibes. I assume I'll go into more. I can give more detail now
I mean,
if we want.
what we're going to do is we're going to start filling out a little bit of the character and then see how that fits out,
Okay.
I think.
Sounds
Because let's find out who Odds On Favorite is.
Yes.
We're going to start the same way that we've been doing for Charting Fate's course, is we start with your concept and your cast. We've already got that. I'm not worrying about birth sign or exaltation sign. Do you have those? Do you know what they are?
I think I had said Guardians, and I don't remember. And yeah, I don't even remember what exaltation sign is.
So we'll worry about that at another point.
Great.
But step 2, it's going to be your attributes.
Yeah.
So, of physical, social, and mental, which is your primary?
My primary is my mental.
On your mental, what's your perception, intelligence, and wits?
Perception 4, intelligence 3, wits 4.
A standard 4-3-4 split.
Indeed.
We are going on to your secondary, which is
Social. Charisma 2. Manipulation 4. Appearance 3.
and then moving on to your tertiary, your physical.
Strength 1, baby! Dexterity 4.
And stamina 2.
Thank you very much.
Dumpstat.
Yay! What are all of our dump stats now? I know that Blaze's is intelligence.
Blazes is intelligence. And Steps is manipulation.
Nice, nice.
Scott, least hot confirmed. By the numbers, yes, Scott is least hot confirmed.
But personality-wise, it's right up there.
I don't know.
The vibes, the blazing vibes, they do not lie. They don't lie, but I do.
Now, knowing what we know now, so you have a heavy emphasis on your mentals. You still have quite a decent spread in your socials.
Yeah.
And then physicals, you are physically weak in terms of just raw strength.
Yeah.
But you've got the dex and you've got the stamina to show for it. So stamina is pretty basic, but at least you are nimble,
That's right.
dexterous.
I'm a dexterous bitch.
Apologies for the glitching, by the way. That's Adobe Acrobat's fault. But we are using lot casting Atemi after this. This is just so that we can show us building the sheet out. Lot casting Atemi will be the way that we are going to be working on these character sheets after that. Now, for your abilities.
Yeah.
That is going to be your 5 cast abilities. Being someone of secrets, that's going to be investigation, larceny, lore, occult, and stealth. But you also get to have favored
Yes.
abilities. Why don't you throw me out what your 5 favored are? And you also get martial arts, by the way.
Oh, yes. Archery. Awareness. Dodge. Performance. And socialize.
What we have that I find very interesting here is that 2 of your favorites
Yes,
are physical,
that's right.
dodge and archery. 2 of them are social, socialize and performance, largely, not always. And awareness would be mental, right? Because that's perception. So now it's time for 28 dots to
Jesus
get
Christ.
assigned.
Buckle up, fuckers. Can't wait to have my math be proven wrong. Okay, so we're gonna start with archery 3. Athletics 2. Awareness 2. Bureaucracy 2. Craft 7. No craft. Dodge 3.
I was ready for that.
You had the hover cursor. You were ready to go.
It was right there.
Integrity 1. Investigation 1. Larceny 3. Linguistics 1.
Shh, you can read. Oh, do you have pronouns? Do you want to
She, her. Thank you very much.
throw that in there?
Performance 3.
Sorry, linguistics 1.
Yeah.
Lore?
No.
Nothing? Martial arts?
Nope.
Nothing. Medicine, melee?
Nope.
Occult?
Nope. Performance 3, baby. Presence 1. Sail 1. Socialize 3. Stealth 2.
And that's it?
That's it.
All right. Count 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, 14, 17, 18, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28. Interestingly enough, you are not required to take Lore or martial arts, despite the fact that they're your cast abilities. You do not have to.
I only have
not
to take them if they're favored, right?
They're favored,
Yeah.
and for favored, you have at least one in each of them.
Good.
So we've got the high dots in archery and dodge.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that this is how you're going to make fight.
I like to make fight and stay alive.
It's fair.
I like to try to dodge the old swings.
Larceny, performance, and socialize.
Yeah.
You want to tell me a little bit about why those happen to come up for you?
Okay. So, my little lady is an avarice fiend for secrets, and she has different ways of getting them, procuring them. She is very morally flexible. She will happily break and enter. She will happily pickpocket. She will happily employ nefarious means to get a secret. But her favorite way of doing it is by posing as a fortune teller in NetSpace.
Okay. Tell me about that.
I was thinking it would be one of her resplendent destinies,
Okay.
so she could maybe establish a bit of a reputation for herself. That's where performance comes in. So, she's just a sweet little fortune teller. You can trust her. Trust her with your secrets.
We are.
And maybe she'll tell you the truth, and maybe she won't tell you the truth. That's where she's at.
So you've described her as morally.
No, this fortune teller will not.
Like, is it an ethical situation here? Is it a moral thing? Why does she take on the guise of a fortune teller? And why do you describe her as flexible?
She's kind of like Robin Hood, but with secrets and also money. And also she doesn't give to the poor necessarily. It's just that she targets the rich and the privileged because she believes that she can use their secrets better than they can. She believes she's better equipped. I mean, she's chosen after all.
Oh, she's chosen.
She's chosen of
it
secrets.
Makes sense.
Give me your secrets. It's no good all like tucked away in your brain. Give them here. Maybe I'll decide to keep it, or maybe I'll decide to share it with the perfect people.
I mean, that's
Trade
just
is
fun for me.
involved. Indeed.
All right, we have next up. We've got to pick your specialties. You are going to get 4 specialties. You have to have at least 1 dot and an ability to take a specialty.
Yeah.
So, hit me up.
Performance, specialty disguises.
Now, creating a disguise is larceny. Are you talking about that you're good at performance when you are in disguise?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to actually just change that to in disguise. if
Okay,
that's
perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. There we go. What's next?
Larceny, sleight of hand.
Okay.
Stealth, in plain sight.
Stealth.
Stealth.
Okay, tell me what in plain sight means to you.
So to me, it can best be equated to in Assassin's Creed, where you blend into a crowd
Okay.
and you like move amongst say the nuns or whatever, and you use that as a way of getting to it. So it's not hiding in the shadows, it's hiding in crowds of people.
Okay. So it's not avoiding being seen, it's avoiding being perceived.
Yeah, being
or
noticed.
or even if somebody is actively looking for you, being unable to tell you from everything else that's happening. So you know how to melt into either organized or disorganized surroundings.
Exactly.
Great. I mean, you still have stealth. You can still hide in shadows if you want to. This is just your specialty. And then you got one more.
Dodge.
Okay.
So I have it labeled as gimme space. And what I mean by that is when we're at close range. Because I imagine a lot of what she's trying to do is disengage to put some distance between her and the baddies.
Okay.
So the dodge specialty specifically applies when she's trying to do that. So it wouldn't apply when she's like dodging a ranged attack or anything like that.
Okay, so it's very specifically you are in close range. You're like in melee with somebody else, and you are trying to back out of it. You're trying to separate because, as we've seen, you have archery 3. You want to be at ranged.
Correct.
Makes sense to me. This is about the limit of power that I'd allow a specialty to be, but like I'm okay with that because you're going to try your utmost to not deal with
In a
that.
perfect world, that never comes up.
Right. You're not trying to be in close range with anybody.
Yeah.
I would be a little more hesitant to like allow Blazing Chrome to have this because he's trying
he's
to be in
always
everybody's
he would be
face.
rolling it every time.
Yeah. So in this case, I think that makes more sense. So great, no problem there.
It is easily overlooked presence method. That's just what it is.
We're giving you your base willpower of 5 and your essence of 1.
Yes, please.
you would,
Yes, Aramithius, it would, but I like the sounds of gimme space.
That's
that's the logical answer for it. and
we
yet-
are always on this channel, like we do like to have our little esoteric ways of putting things.
Logic doesn't usually apply to my characters, so apologies
what?
in advance.
Wait, who? After we've determined your abilities, we're going to move on to your merits.
Okay.
So, we are already starting, because you are a member of the Celestial Bureaucracy, that you're going to have backing in the Bureau of Destiny.
Backing 2.
Bod. Let's do that. 2.
Nice.
And
Resources 3.
resources from the Bureau of Destiny. And that is going to be 3. All right. Now you have 10 more.
Yeah.
So hit me up.
Okay, so there's 2 versions of the merit quick draw, and I am taking the 4.1. At least that's what I'm pitching. Which is basically if she flurries a draw/ready weapon action and an attack action, the flurry penalty is reduced to -1 rather than -3.
Right. Which means you can draw and fire right away with a minimal penalty as opposed to a
Exactly.
Flurries in Exalted mean that if you're trying to take 2 actions in the same round, both of those actions are going to suffer a -3 penalty. In this case, drawing doesn't need a roll, but it will still affect the other roll that would be happening. So now that's much less of a concern for you.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And yes, Odds on Favorite does have the U in it.
She's Canadian.
Uh,
Every single one of her past lives was Canadian. Oh boy.
Now, after Quick Draw, you're not taking, because you can opt to take both versions of Quick Draw, but
Yeah.
you're not taking the 1 point.
I wasn't thinking of it, but the other one that I'm taking instead of that is also a 1 point, so I might change my mind.
That's fine.
The 1.1 is direction sense. Because I feel like Bish is pretty good at finding her way around.
Now, if I check the other
Quick draw?
characters,
Yeah.
what I have here, just no, that's battle groups. Let's actually click on the right one. So
Well, we just always know where we're going.
direction sense, steps through taken does currently have direction sense. If
That makes sense.
If that matters to you, I don't know if it does. And then Blazing Chrome does not.
Yeah.
So if you really wanted to min-max your way to having one character have direction sense and everyone else just follow, then you could do that. I don't personally
I think
mind one way or the
just
other.
because it's only 1 dot, and if we ever make port, and if we ever split the party, even though I know that never happens, I'd love to be able to know my way back to the ship.
Makes sense.
Solo.
Fector brings up martial artist. Technically, you get this for free.
You're right. Yay.
I'm so
You're a
talented.
sidereal.
I'm so talented.
So it is true that Odds On Favorite doesn't have martial arts currently
This is correct.
on the sheet. That does not mean that you can't buy it up in the future. It does mean that you are likely not using any martial arts at the beginning of the game.
That is currently the intention.
But there are ways in order for you to move into a martial art once you hit Essence 3, either through archery or just buying into a sidereal martial art.
Yeah.
Plain and
So,
simple.
I mean, when I heard that I could have, I think it was if I had 10 archery charms.
So I will give you.
Yeah, there's
that.
basically a way of porting
There is a
into
way.
a sidereal martial art at a much later date.
So what
can't
you are
have it now,
talking
so-
about
Yeah.
is
Clay, it's clay something.
well, Clay Maiden form
Yeah.
is a stance that you can adopt if you have any 4 archery charms. The one that you are thinking of
Oh, but I'm not thinking of it.
is Clay Maiden Enlightenment.
All right, I knew it had clay
So
in it.
yeah, clay in it. Clay in it. And then you have to have Clay Maiden form in any 5 archery charms.
Okay.
And then once you have that, you can choose a sidereal martial art, and your form weapon is going to be an archery weapon.
Like, I'm really into that. So yes, I'm holding out for a hero.
Yep. And you can buy martial arts up afterwards. Remember that since it's cast ability for you, it'll cost less to buy with experience. So it makes sense that you don't know it now.
That's right.
Great deck coming in with it. Excellent. But you have to have archery 5 for that, but we're going to get to that in a second. So if we're looking at your merits again, now martial arts is free. Backing and resources are free. One thing that I will point out is that I gave everybody languages,
Yes.
which I gave them to you because Sidereals get to start with Old Realm, and they get to start with their native tongue. And I wanted each character to have access to 2 other languages. In my games, I much prefer to have I don't know your language as a specific plot point as opposed to I just didn't buy it. Because then you also incentivize sometimes for then everybody to be like, fine, then we'll all take a different language so that we can all speak to different, and it gets kind of messy. So what are the 4 languages you have? So your native tongue,
Sea tongue.
Sea tongue, and then aside from
You've
Old
already
Realm.
mentioned Old Realm,
Yeah.
River Speak,
Yep.
and High Realm.
So River Speak lets you speak to a lot of people. River Speak is probably the most widespread language.
Yeah.
High Realm, useful if you're wanting to talk to a bunch of hoity-toities.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feels like that's something that you want to do. So she's not from Ember.
She's not from Deep in Ember. Almost like I lied. What?
I don't get it.
Don't worry, sweetie. Hey.
So I did it for the other ones. We just hadn't got there yet.
Okay.
But that means that we have 5 more dots for you to assign.
Yeah. And I wasn't gonna do this, but
I wasn't gonna do this.
I
What a
wasn't-
great thing to drop.
I wasn't gonna do this. I take out a knife. But then you asked me very, very casually when we were discussing my character if I put any thought into artifacts.
Right.
And I think I initially went, no. But then I watched Scott and Kate's character building sessions, and they have really cool. I think they both have artifact something.
So Kate definitely does.
Yeah. Maybe Scott doesn't, but
And-
Kate's inspired me.
Blazing Chrome currently does,
Okay.
but that's a change
Oh,
from character creation.
so then it must have been Kate because I would have seen
Yeah.
it and been inspired. But that made me go, well, John, should I have an artifact? Weapon, maybe? And then we started talking, and yeah, because we were in cyberpunk. So archery, like a bow didn't really feel correct, but I don't know. I'm picky when it comes to like my RPG character, like firearms.
Right.
I wanted it to be like fun and quirky and not something that felt too like real world. So I was like, John, in my brain, It's a big old gun, but the gun's also collapsible because I wouldn't want her to just be carrying it around all the time because she's very stealth focused.
Right.
And I had a charm, and we'll get to that, I guess, in a bit, that made me think like it would be really cool if the gun was kind of like modded in certain ways. And then I wanna give the rest of the credit to you because you came up with a really cool idea. You started going through the artifacts that were listed, and yeah.
We've already determined that we're going to be using the stat blocks that exist in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that we had left open that we hadn't quite determined was, are people going to be using guns or are they going to be using bows?
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of got to the point where we were like, we haven't really made that choice yet, but they're still going to use the stats that exist in the book. Just, we're not here to completely throw out every kind of stat block that exists. I don't want to do the work to completely redo the combat system in order to make firearms an option over archery. So while it will use the archery tree, it will use archery charms, I am fine with it being a firearm. But to disappoint perhaps some people here, it's not a fire wand. So a fire wand is kind of like a flamethrower. That's really what a fire wand is. And here, it's more of the concept of being able to send things out, right? Like
projectile.
Attacking at range.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, you can slap firearms in easy. Now, the question that I wanted to address, something that you brought up, which I thought was very important, is you don't identify your character as an archer.
Mm-hmm.
Even though archery is something that you're going to be good at.
She's very good at it. But when people see her for the first time, I don't want them to go, that's an archer. Like if you're walking around with a big ass sword, no matter what else you can do, people are going to attribute a certain soldier warrior vibe to you.
Right.
And I didn't want, especially having just played Naroon, I didn't want that to be part of her like initial impression.
Right. And I think that's kind of important.
Yeah.
When we're looking at the other two characters, Blazing Chrome, his weapon is partially or probably going to be part of his body. It's a mod, right?
That's so fucking cool.
Which is cool, but like also his character is described as brash. His character is described as, aggressive, forward. It makes sense to see him carrying a weapon around. But Steps Retaken's weapons are knives, darts,
and her
shuriken.
sexy face.
Her sexy face. But those are all things that she can conceal. When she walks into a room, it doesn't look like she is carrying heavy weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fact that you wanted to have something that was concealable, but also move into the archery tree, led me to think, okay, now we have a bit of a question mark here.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure that you don't identify too much with this, but you also still want to have the ability to have that weapon.
Yeah.
And I like this. I think that it's cool. I want to maintain this, which means that using an artifact, we can start to bend the rules slightly as to what is appropriate, what is available to us, because then we can add the concealable tag as long as the artifact justifies that. If we go down in the book and we look at the artifacts section of the Grand Panoply in the core, artifact archery weapons tend to, first of all, none of the archery weapons have the concealable tag. None.
Yeah.
Light archery weapons like a short power bow, which is the only light one listed in here, have the tags lethal, archery, and mounted.
Mm-hmm.
If we go into medium, then we also have the ability to have a medium weapon as a power bow. And those power bows have lethal and archery, long. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not collapsible. That's fine. But we can make one collapsible if we make it an artifact. But then we got onto siege crossbows. Name notwithstanding. Name notwithstanding. Siege crossbows are described as the stock of this large crossbow is often carved in the likeness of a leaping predator.
Jesus Christ.
While the short, thick bow is a single piece of one of the 5 magical materials, and it has the following tags.
Mm-hmm.
Lethal, so it does lethal damage. Archery, long, so it's capable of firing a long distance, assuming that you're aiming.
Yep.
Crossbow, piercing, powerful, slow. Now, the tags in here that are important are crossbow, which means that your strength doesn't matter. And if we take a look up here, there isn't a whole lot of strength that we're working with here on odds on favorite.
You got that right, buddy.
So that's one thing to take into account. The
Yes.
second is piercing, which means that you can ignore a certain amount of armor that somebody is wearing, which is cool. Powerful,
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
right? Powerful means that if you are at close range, it does more damage.
Yeah.
And then the hitch, slow.
Yeah. We had a big conversation about this.
Slow means that after you fire, you have to take an action to reload. Now, that is a legitimate thing that you can put into an artifact weapon, absolutely, but it tweaks my brain slightly, and there's a reason why. If you are fighting with a crossbow, and every other action you are setting it back, it means that either you're always flurrying, setting it back and then firing, which means you are always at a -3 penalty to attack, which is, except for your first shot,
Yeah.
assuming that you carry it loaded. And then the second is either that or every other round of combat, and then you pass.
And an extra if I take the time to aim.
So, what
Say
we
flurry.
came up with, and what we're going to put in here, conditionally,
Yeah.
remember that as much as Liz is also allowed to change whatever she wants on her sheet at any point for the first little bit, and even then afterwards we can change things if it doesn't work out, I can also kind of look at it and be like, oh,
Yeah.
we miscalculated.
If this is busted as fuck,
Yeah.
like, I'm not interested in breaking the system either. Shocking.
But you're spending all 5 of your remaining merits. on
That's
this
right.
artifact.
I'm prepared to pay for this fancy pants item.
And Angel, you're correct. A reload action can't be part of a flurry. Well, it can't. Sorry, reload can be
Reload
part of
can,
a
but
flurry,
aiming can't.
But aiming cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reload is. It specifically does say when it describes the slow tag, it specifically says you can reload and fire, but it is always a flurry at that point. So Artifact 5, we're going to break the system a little, which means that your power bow, sorry, not power bow, siege crossbow, which we're going to list here as siege crossbow.
I'll
but we're
come up
gonna
with a cool name.
better name.
Yeah, we'll
for
come
it.
up with some cool name
Well,
for
it also needs to have like its own unique name. But the tags here are specifically, it is not going to have the slow tag and it will have the concealable tag. Describe to me how it conceals.
So, our girl Odds walks around with a bright pink fanny pack. You 80s babies know what I'm talking about. It's just like a little pouch that you wear on a belt around your waist. And I was like, John, if it's concealable and collapsible, can it come out of the fanny pack? And then we get to say fanny a lot, which is really fun too.
Especially for our UK viewers.
Exactly. I did this for weirdness. You're welcome. So that's the thought.
So it is a 5-dot artifact, which is a big deal.
It's a fancy, expensive thing.
In the context of Datafall, that means that it does carry materia, right? It gains its ability from not moon silver. What am I saying? Star metal.
Orange jade.
Yeah, it's orange jade. Fuck.
It's just pure orange jade. Run.
Yeah, remove slow and concealable. That's an artifact 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we haven't figured out what the evocations would be for this
Right.
yet, but I also don't know if you will have any evocations to start.
That's so valid.
But the idea is that this is a concealable weapon that also does not have the penalty of being slow.
Yeah.
It will use the medium. Damage, overwhelming, and attunement for artifact weapons, and the ranges, same thing, right? The main thing, though, is that instead of using your strength, it will use just a base +4.
That's so sexy.
So
That is so good.
So, Requiem, when you say that evocations for an Artifact 5 has the potential to be very powerful, that is correct. However, a lot of that power goes into removing one tag and adding another.
Yep.
So I'm not necessarily saying, okay, well, this is also going to be the godlike weapon of all time. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But a lot of that purchase power is being invested directly into an artifact weapon that can be concealed, despite the fact that it has the power of a medium power bow. Butt House. Hell yeah, Brittany's. I'm here for the Butt House. So the artifact is your, we're going to call it siege, again, siege crossbow for here for now, although it's not going to
It'll probably be called something like Big Boom Boom or something like that.
Big Boom Boom does.
BBB.
I mean, okay.
Oh
Makes
yeah,
sense.
big bum bag boom boom. That's
So,
a pretty, I like that as an idea.
what does the artifact look like in itself? So describe how you would want this to look.
I'm still figuring it out. So I was inspired by the junk jet in Fallout, because spoiler alert, one of the charms that I've bought is generalized ammunition technique, and I like the idea of that charm being used with this gun, because it can fire any physical thing that's no larger than her fist and no longer than her arm from an archery weapon. Example, normal objects, but also fire, small animals, handfuls of dust, shouts, music, etc. And the missile isn't damaged by its flight. So
A giant ass gun
Yeah.
firing like
a tiny kitten or something,
Beats.
like wee, or like beats. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, okay, so she bought this like fucking big like gun, but like it was definitely cobbled together by like a junk dealer or something. And the junk dealer told her, hey, you know, it can like, its chamber can accept other ammunition, but like you have to be special to do that. But here are the canisters that you use normally or whatever. That was kind of what I was thinking. Looks wise, I mean, she's probably spray painted parts of it pink.
So
That's
it
if Harley
could-
Quinn had a gun.
It could have been created by like through junk, but it
Yeah.
had to have been refined with materia.
Exactly.
Like it is an artifact.
Yeah, that's it. So maybe she
Right.
bought like a junk thing at some point, but then took it to someone else to get it refined. Like, but I want it to feel like a couple of different people worked on it.
Right. And I think that that's kind of a situation that we can work that out in terms
Yeah.
of your backstory. What would make sense in order for you to have access to such a powerful artifact right from the start? Maybe somebody owed a past life of yours a favor. Maybe
Maybe she stole the magical materials and just needed to find someone willing to work with it.
it's possible. There's a lot of ways that we can
Something like
make this
that,
work
yeah.
out. But I think that we'll hold off on that just while we're figuring out exactly how it's going to look.
Great.
And because I want it to be the weapon that you want it to be. Right? That's you're describing, you bring up Harley Quinn,
Yeah.
makes a certain image pop into my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And cyberpunk certainly allows for somebody to have a BFG, right?
Yeah.
The big fucking gun. And every trip to Yushan, she scams someone over it again. Maybe.
Oh my god.
That doesn't sound so bad.
It doesn't sound so bad.
But those are your merits. So
Yeah.
of the merits that we have, a lot of them are free martial artist backing resources. They're there. Quick draw is a 4-dot merit and direction sense, and then it's you just got your weapon.
Yeah.
Kaboom.
And I'm so happy with that because when I was creating this character, I think the dots that were the hardest for me to spend were merits. Because nothing was really like setting my world on fire. And then we started talking about this weapon, and that got me really jazzed. And I went, that's where I should be putting most of my dots. I'm so happy to do this. I don't feel like, yeah, I wish I could get this other thing. No.
Yeah.
And if this never upgrades, I don't fucking care. Like,
I mean,
it's so exciting.
I think evocations are in your future.
Ah,
That's
Later.
fine. But again, I'll point out so much of a Sidereal's or any Exalted's power actually comes from charms, which is where we're going to
Yeah.
head after this. But the weapon itself, you know, what you're asking for, if we find out that it is way too busted,
Yeah.
we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly concerned.
I'm not worried either. I'm really not.
Yeah. Especially because you having this means that it's possible for other people to have this, including your enemies. So
Oh, yep, that's true. Maybe
Requiem,
I steal it from them.
Requiem saying, I always find merits difficult to spend. I spend half of them getting the backgrounds I want, then I'm like, well, shit, how am I going to spend the other half? I think that this has been a common thing for every single one of the players in this campaign.
Yeah.
Because you get 10 dots of merits, and then it's also like, oh yeah, but here's a whole bunch, like, it's literally 9 extra dots of just like, boom, and then I gave you extra for languages.
Well, yeah, and also like you told me, because I had spent what I thought were all my merit points, and then you were like, oh, so what are you spending your last 5 merit points on? I said, what do you mean? And you were like, well, backing and resources are
They're free.
And I went, fuck. Shit, what do I do now?
I
was like,
and sometimes you can always, say, I'll buy allies, I'll buy contacts, I'll buy mentor. That's fine. But also in our games, we tend to collect those NPCs along the way, as opposed to start
catch them
with
all.
them. So, but there we go. So it's a 5-dot artifact. It's got a certain amount of power to it. We'll see how that goes. I mean, it's also, while it's concealable at the start, once it's out, it's pretty fucking obvious.
That's it.
You're not hiding the gun once it's available and ready to fire.
And it means that once it's back in the bum bag, then like it needs to be redrawn and readied.
Yeah.
So like then that means it's a flurry. And only a -1 penalty flurry, but still, that's like putting it away to conceal it, taking it out. It's not like having like a knife up your sleeve or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Which
still
is
more cumbersome than that.
Steps are taken.
That's right. She's so cool.
She does what she can. All right. Moving on from your merits, now we're looking at charms.
Yeah.
So again, with Sidereals, we've had an experience where charms end up being way more than you can imagine, because Sidereal charms tend to spider out.
They're so cool.
They really
charms,
do touch upon other things. So let's take a look at what your charms
Charms aren't as much of a mess in lot casting as I thought they would
may
be.
look at.
That's exciting.
So we're going to go through what you've already looked at, and we'll see if there's anything. I will point out at this point, you have not spent any bonus points.
Yeah.
So if you've taken any charms that have requirements you don't meet, then we'll know that we have to spend some bonus points later on.
Okay. So I guess let's start with larceny. Maiden in the pot, escape.
What does Maiden in the Pot escape do?
Okay. When a Sidereal rolls to pick a lock, she succeeds even on a failed roll. Instead, her failure introduces some complication. Her tools break, a guard catches her, she can't pick the lock quickly enough to evade the lunar chasing her, etc. If opening the lock would directly imperil the Sidereal, she succeeds automatically without needing to roll. This charm can also enhance rolls with any ability to bypass esoteric barriers and obstructions, like a curtain of sorcerous flame or a ring of runes that renders a door immovable, but it doesn't let the Sidereal make a roll if she couldn't normally attempt one.
So basically, no lock is safe from you.
Exactly.
Wicked.
Which I imagine you and I can discuss a little bit what that means in terms of like what's a physical lock versus what is like a lock that needs to be hacked.
An electronic lock would still considered to be a lock.
Yeah.
It would still be larceny for you to undo it. So it's assumed that because you live in this universe, you have a certain affinity with these sorts of things. It's kind of like how a lot of what this would fall under would be like lore or occult, but you don't have to know lore or occult to understand how certain things can be bypassed or how certain things can work, or even to let your essence engage in these things. So your larceny would be enough for that.
Awesome.
Obviously, if it was something that I was like, this isn't a lock, that's different.
Yeah. The next is another larceny. It's called Mask of the Uncanny. Mask is spelt M-A-S-Q-U-E.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I just want to address one thing here. So, Old Griffin says, I also have to say, when I first heard that you were doing Exalted Cyberpunk, I was a little suspicious or concerned. Now, have you changed your mind?
Or do you remain?
Is this still a problem? Are we,
for what it's worth, I mean, having not actually played with them yet, I really love Sidereal charms. Like, a lot. I love how it's not just, this pool is better, add dice to this.
Yeah.
Like, they're really evocative and in some cases hyper-specific. And so you find yourself wondering, what situations am I going to use this in? But that, for me anyway, that really helped create a character in mind who would be in these situations. I think they were cooking.
Yeah, no, I agree. I find these very interesting. I think that it makes characters feel like they're more than just, oh yeah, I'm good at stealth and now I'm just really good at stealth.
Yeah.
It's, I'm good at stealth and therefore I'm able to do some really fucked up shit.
Yeah. Very cool.
And yes, it's an exalted game, Old Griffin, and I think that that's really what we're trying to put forward with this. I very specifically didn't want to do things like the fair folk exist, Yozi, demons, infernals, the elementals, other kinds of exalted. All of them are still part of it. Gods are still a big part of sidereal existence. We just wanted to put a little coat of paint over it, as opposed to, no, we really wanted to play cyberpunk with it, but with exalted rules, which is not what we're doing. But yes, I would definitely say that this is it is not a cyberpunk game with a setting crammed into it. It's an exalted game, just like you said. All right, Masquerade Uncanny.
Yes.
Tell me about Masquerade Uncanny.
It's larceny. Roll to instantly disguise herself as an enemy of fate. No equipment required. No penalty for disguising as different race, sex, or body type, or impersonating specific characters. Can mimic caste marks and anima banners of exalted enemies of fate, and manifest supernatural sensory displays appropriate to her disguise.
Now, enemies of fate.
Yes.
This is a specific term that has come up a couple of times. So let's just say what that is. An enemy of fate are outwardly beings outside of Fate's weave. So demons, fae, undead, Etimians, abyssals, infernals.
Yep.
So you can disguise yourself as any one of those. They're not well liked
No.
in a lot of cases.
But I also kind of thought, I haven't completely made up my mind on this, but I was thinking maybe her fortune teller is an enemy of fate, because there's a certain like mystical sort of like, even though they're not well liked, you can't help but feel that they're powerful.
So your fortune teller, what I'm hearing now, is not like the old crone, but it's actually just a goth baddie, and you're playing as an abyssal.
She could be an old crone goth baddie abyssal.
So you're like Elvira, Mistress of the Night.
Maybe. Who knows? But that would be kind of interesting.
Incidentally, for artificial sentience that we were talking about last character creation, we may end up renaming that just because people keep seeing ass. So it might end up being virtual intelligence as opposed to artificial intelligence. It'd be a virtual intelligence, so a VI. But we'll see. We'll float that idea on Discord. We'll raise up the flag and see who salutes. But yeah, you could also imitate being a virtual sentience if you want. Yeah. Very cool. Again, from Larceny, being able to impersonate an abyssal. Okay.
Felt kind of cool.
What's next?
Name pilfering practice. This is such a cool charm. This is such a fucked and cool charm. So roll wits and larceny against the resolve of your target within short range. Target has to be within short range. If successful, steal his name or one of the names he goes by, and you can truthfully use it to identify yourself. The victim cannot use the stolen name to identify himself either directly or indirectly. Other characters with resolve lower than the roll's success can't remember that it's the victim's name. The victim can steal the name back by identifying me as the thief and then winning a noteworthy victory over her. Combat, social intrigues, etc. And they also must make a brief monologue, which was probably my favorite part of the charm flavor text. They have to, like, you have to monologue to be like, now I have bested you. I reclaim my name. I am Tim the apple vendor forevermore. Oh, it's so good.
The fact that you can just rip somebody's name and then just be like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Is fucking, because the interesting thing is it's just the name. So if it's somebody that you know, or like, let's say you're trying to get into a building,
Yeah.
and everybody in the building knows that there's somebody in the head office whose name is Jones,
Yeah.
but they don't necessarily know what Jones looks like because there's a lot of people who work there. And so then, perfect, you just have to say, I'm Jones, and they're like, yep, you're Jones. If they know what Jones looks like, well, maybe you're gonna have to disguise yourself.
Any
Maybe-
chance Jones is an old crone goth baddie abyssal?
It's possible.
Perfect.
So there's some very cool stuff that you can do with this.
Scott pointed out that there are a few charms that actually involve signing like the signatures of people carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And in a lot of those charms, it's specifically mentioned that if someone is using that name, they can sign for them.
Mhm.
I could sign Jones.
And you're not lying
No.
when you say that
it's
you're Jones.
so cool.
So like you can't, like they don't even have to compare against your guile. We'll talk about the social situation and social rules a little later. But yeah, it's not a lie.
Yep.
What's next?
Next, Sidereal Shell Games. So it's also larceny. It's going to be very useful in battle. Roll Wits Larceny against the resolve of an enemy within short range. Success lets me impose a -1 penalty on one category of the victim's rolls, mental, physical, or social. Or I can lower his soak by 1. Every 2 successes increases this penalty by 1 for a maximum of -3. The penalty lasts until the end of the scene. If I inflicted a penalty, I add that many dice on all rolls of the penalized category for myself. If soak, I add to my own. The target can feel the sidereal sapping his prowess, though the charm does not have a physical indicator, and the target can end the charm by crashing or incapping the sidereal.
So in other words, you can just start leeching off somebody else.
Yeah.
Now, I will point out that it's an enemy.
Yes.
So you can't, for instance, start leeching off of, say, Blazing Chrome.
Yeah, I can't be like, Blaze, give me your soak.
Yeah. It's very much a, I am ripping something away from you.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
like,
It's really cool.
we have been doing a little bit of practice, and in the combat that we ran, where you just took somebody's soak, just because, hey, he had a lot of soak, and every little bit counts. So, a great thing to have.
We're finally out of larceny, y'all. Yay! We're on to archery. Any direction arrow. Ignore defense bonuses from cover and full defenses. Can ignore enemies behind full cover as long as there's some opening for her attack to pass through, although target receives a +3 non-charm defense. And it upgrades at Essence 2. So just some little, someone's hiding behind a barrel. Just makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. You already spoke about this one, when let's toss that in there.
Generalized ammunition technique. So yeah. I can fire things.
I can't just start. I was gonna say sucking.
You can't just start sucking off Blazing Chrome.
I mean,
Yar.
well, not without his consent.
Yeah, it's true. AKA smart bullet.
What's next?
Absent Self, which is a dodge charm. Sidereal ignores the higher of Essence or 3 points of evasion penalty. If the attacker has a positive tie to her, ignore all evasion penalties. Can't negate from surprise attacks. So if I'm surprised, this part doesn't apply. However, if the Sidereal is unarmored or has no evasion penalties to negate, can dodge an attack whose successes equal her evasion, which even in our practice combat, I used at least twice.
Yep.
So that's really, really helpful.
Scott, why are you ignoring the sucking off comment? Why? After Absent Self?
Avoidance, another favorite of mine. The Sidereal rolls Wits plus Dodge at a difficulty of 3 plus however many rounds there have been so far this scene, or difficulty of 4 if it's outside of combat. She suffers a penalty equal to the number of non-trivial enemies within medium range of her. If she's in a battle group space, she also suffers a penalty equal to its size. But after all that, if the Sidereal succeeds, she disappears, reappearing in a nearby location of the storyteller's choice. All characters present forget the Sidereal was there. If there's any physical evidence that could identify the Sidereal, her successes are treated as a conceal evidence roll to obscure it. This can be resisted with magic that specifically protects against memory-altering psyche effects. I can bring willing characters along if I have trouble reduction strategy, which I currently do not.
So you might as well rename this charm Bail.
Bye. Yeah, Bail, the jukes. That's it. Yeah.
So this is your ability to just get the fuck out.
Yeah,
And it really is a get the fuck out charm.
it is. Yeah.
The 3+ rounds for this scene, you know, so the longer that you stay in a combat, the harder it is for you to just absolutely get out. So it is less useful if you start a fight and then you realize later on that it's more than you might have gambled on, but
I kind of like the idea that that means as soon as a battle starts, Odds is instantly looking for an exit, or like going, ooh, are we not gonna win this? Bye, Blaze! And she just fucks off.
now
You got this, buddy!
it is true. Scott mentioned something. It's my choice. So it is possible that I'll put you in a situation that might not be to your advantage.
It's true.
It
It's
depends
true.
on destiny.
Yes.
We need to have like a destiny, like
It's like the SpongeBob imagination.
now we need a Bail sound clip to go with Sail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bam.
And then destiny.
I love it.
All right.
Okay.
What's next?
Now we're into socialize. Also some beautiful charms in here.
So I'll point out you've already named your archery and your dodge charms.
Mm-hmm.
So of those,
Yeah.
you have listed 4. You're not a combat focused character, despite having an artifact of 5,
Correct.
which is I'm not pointing this out because I don't agree with it. I think it's great. But I'm just pointing out you are definitely not a combat forward character at this
That's
time.
great.
Okay.
That works for me.
What's next?
Okay. Follow the blue string. It's socialize. When the Sidereal succeeds on a read intentions roll that reveals a tie to another individual, if her successes beat the guile of that tie's object, she learns what intimacy, if any, he has for the character she read. He need not be present for her to do so. So, I'm reading intentions on the Incredible Hulk, and I find out that he has a tie towards Natasha. Natasha's guile, oh my god, famously so bad.
Yeah,
or
of
sorry,
course.
her guile.
Yeah.
So either say her guile is 2 and I beat that, then I can find out if she has
An
an
towards him.
intimacy towards the Hulk. Yeah.
Now, this we were looking over this earlier. Not only does this other person not need to be present, you don't need to know who this person is.
Yeah, it doesn't say that I have to have met them.
Nope. You do not have to have met them. You don't even have to know their name. You just need to know, oh, you have a tie to somebody else, and do they feel the same way? Do they feel a different way? And it isn't even necessarily about lovers. It could be enemies. It could
Yeah.
be, trust, mistrust, all of those things, which also is interesting because I'm curious what will happen if you decide to use a read intentions action on your fellow players. Well, they're fellow PCs. The players, you're going to have to figure that out on your own. I can't help you there.
I can see Odds wanting to do that. She wants to hoard secrets, and intimacies are secrets.
Oh, when we get to intimacies, that's going to be fun.
Ew.
All right, what's next?
Life without compunction. It's another socialize. When the Sidereal commits a faux pas or violates a custom, she makes a special manipulation and socialize instill roll against all who witnessed it, ignoring multiple target penalties. A character whose resolve is beaten won't care about the faux pas and can't form negative ties toward the Sidereal or weaken positive ties to her as a result. It doesn't excuse consequences for violating laws. If the Sidereal's extra successes against a character equal or exceed his essence, he's convinced the Sidereal's conduct was appropriate and admirable, gaining an appropriate minor principle.
Now, here's the thing. This could also be called foot out of mouth technique.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And just
It's a good point, Sablica. What is a law? What is it? We're
to
in a
one of the
lawless state.
chosen. I know how you feel about this person. How? I never met you, girl. I'm a
I'm a
Sidereal.
Sidereal. I'm a Sidereal. Don't worry about it.
Water tribe.
Water tribe.
I love this in terms of fairness. I'm going to mention a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
If you make a faux pas that it's more the player making a mistake as opposed to the character, I'm not going to make you activate this right away, right? Like
Right.
it's if it's because we haven't established a part of this universe and you just don't realize that, like, oh, it is a faux pas to like log on with somebody else's username without asking, which, okay, that's a bad example, but then, you know, like this is not a get the player out of jail. It's
Yeah.
get odds on favorite out of jail. And it also is interesting because it means that you can do this on purpose.
Yeah.
You can violate a custom on purpose, and then if you succeed on this, everyone's just like, yeah,
Yep.
awesome,
Yep.
which could be pretty cool.
I think that could be interesting.
Fector, you are absolutely correct. What is a law? Whatever the Exalted decide.
That's right. Now we are into stealth. Legend dimming obscurity. Welcome to the most stubborn part of odds. This is a permanent charm. Characters automatically fail rolls against the Sidereal's arcane fate unless they use magic or have a major or defining tie toward her. Even then, they suffer +1 target number on the roll.
So Sidereals very specifically have a curse that others are cursed to not remember them. It's known as arcane fate. That unless you're another Sidereal or a god working in the Bureau of Destiny, there is a inevitable chance that you will forget the Sidereal at some point. And you just made it even harder.
Yeah. I think Odds has it in her head that she doesn't care if people don't remember her. I, Liz, think that's insane. But I like the fact that I'm playing a character who's like, I don't need you. I don't need you to know who I am.
It's an interesting contrast to Blazing Chrome,
I
who very
know.
much wants to be remembered.
He wants to be remembered. Yeah,
So, a cool thing
I think that's very
for
cool.
us to look at. All right. What's next? More stealth?
More stealth, blinding the boar.
That doesn't sound... I'm just going to go blind the boar.
Roll manipulation and stealth against the resolve of a character within medium range. If successful, that character cannot focus on specific details about her, though they can still determine her location and actions, but they cannot hear her speech, identify her as Sidereal, or even as a human. Affected characters also suffer a -3 penalty on rolls targeting only the Sidereal, and -1 defense and guile against her. It can be flurried with stealth rolls.
Now, it's a 7-mode charm.
Yeah,
It's a significant investment.
it's chunky.
But this also means that it will be difficult for people to even attack you and defend against you if you activate it.
Yep.
And if you succeed.
And it lasts one scene.
Yep.
So it's not... Yep.
Yikes.
It's interesting. I didn't even use it in our practice combat.
Nope.
So we'll see.
7 motes, though, remember that your personal mote pool right now is at 11.
Yeah.
So if you're using that, you are already risking eventually having your anima flare. And of course, that can be a bad thing.
But it says they can't identify her as a Sidereal. So if I'm flaring...
But it's against one character.
Yeah, that's true.
So while it might be very useful in a one-on-one encounter,
It wouldn't be against a bunch of people.
well, it would still be useful in that this one character has difficulty attacking you, has difficulty defending against you. Guile, same thing. Because you can use it even if they can't see you to make sure that they really, like, that -1 to Guile can make a big difference if you're trying to figure out what somebody's up to. But it does mean that the risk is, if you go iconic and you're in the middle of a city, everybody in the city is going to tell that somebody who is exalted is around.
It's true.
So
It's very true.
yeah, Sidereals do not have a whole lot of motes to spend in their personal pool right off the bat.
But on the flip side, if they are glowing? Yeah, that's the first level up. If their cast mark is glowing, it can actually be hidden.
It can be hidden.
With like a hand or a hat or whatever. I sever a hand and hold it in front of my face. That could work. But for solars, it can't be. That's kind of cool.
Now, the other question that Requiem has said, using it and being seen long means that if you're not mistaken, those motes are committed to that charm for the duration.
That's what I wasn't sure about, because it doesn't say committed.
So.
But maybe that is exactly what it means.
In terms of these abilities, there is a specific thing here. I'm just gonna get it here. Where is it now? I had it. It was right here. That's all. No, that's all normal and stuff like that. Where did I literally just had this. I was about to read it off and now I can't. Oh, because I changed the damn page. Hey, he's good at things. So, that's fine, that's fine. That's fine. Still can't find it. How annoying. So when you are spending your motes, I believe that those motes, because they're going to last for the round, are indeed committed.
Okay.
I'm going to have to just check that specifically, but I'm pretty sure that that is the case because it lasts the scene and therefore the motes are committed for that scene.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if I'll rethink that then, because that would basically.
Well, it does mean that your peripheral still can be used, right?
Yeah, but peripherals where you have to be careful about flaring.
So imagine if you're using Blinding the Boar.
Yeah.
And you've got a headband on. You could use your peripheral essence for Blinding the Boar. So you spend 7. You go up to your burning or glowing. You go up to glowing, which is still concealed. Then in combat, you would regain 5 motes around. So you would refill that peripheral. As long as you maintain only your personal, or you're only in your peripheral and you're not spending over a certain amount each round, you wouldn't go up above that.
Okay.
But it is a stealth charm. It is the 7 motes I only point out because it is a significant.
Yeah.
Pop. That's a.
I forgot that it would be committed because they didn't use the word committed in the charm speech, but I should have just known that.
I'm just gonna. Okay. With the exception of permanent charms, any charm with a duration longer than instant requires that any essence spent on it be committed.
Okay.
Committed essence is tied up for the listed duration of the charm. It cannot be regained until the commitment has been released. Now, for sidereals, I'm just going to see if that has changed. No, it has not, as far as I can tell. So, ongoing anima effect mote costs aren't committed. That's what I had noticed. So it's just for anima effects, not for other things.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'll think I might decide to swap it out if I'm always too squirrely to use it.
Yeah. Fector is asking about Oxbody technique.
Yeah.
We were actually talking about that.
We were talking about that, and I just don't think that adding Oxbody technique for a sidereal is as useful as adding it for a solar. Hot take, I guess. It's definitely something that I'm not against buying up later, and maybe swapping some things around so that I can have it. But I kind of feel like pouring a bunch of XP into like dodge and stuff.
Yeah. And
trying to make my evasion really strong is going to be helpful. But like if I'm one-shotted in session 1, then we'll know. I mean, for next time.
I The way that I see it, it means that these characters are possibly going to be in for a rude awakening, depending. And there's, at character creation, you get a whole lot of charms to throw down, and that's great. But also remember that of the characters that we have, 2 of them are not combat focused.
Yeah.
In Exalted, it's often a wise idea to have 5 in an ability. For Sidereals, that's especially true because it means that you can start bending fate even more.
Lower the target number.
Lowering the target number is very powerful. But you're Exalted. It doesn't mean that you're combat focused. It's charms that show if you're super combat focused or not. And Oxbody is important, and I agree that this is something that people may eventually want to invest in. But the reason why I'm not worried that these people don't have it yet is because you can buy it. It's not like charms are that expensive.
Thank you, Gil. Thank you. Something was reading as weird for that charm, and now I see it's mute.
Yeah, it's mute.
It doesn't. Thank you. Great.
I did not notice that. Now I have that here. Yep, there it is.
Yes to Oxbody. But okay, also in a purely like flavor lore kind of mindset, if Odds is used to traveling on her own and her whole thing is like, I don't start fights if I can help it, I know how to escape if I need to, and I've got a big ass gun if shit really hits the fan, it would make sense that she wouldn't have Oxbody because she's not used to hanging out with someone like Blazing Chrome.
That's true.
And I kind of like that.
Yep. I'll also point out that at Stamina 2, if you buy Oxbody Technique, you get 1 minus 0 health level.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what I was saying.
Not
before.
nothing.
It's not nothing.
Not nothing, but it is 1 health level that you would gain, which is perhaps not the biggest deal. Again, we're planning this as a long-running campaign. This is not going to be a like a 1 or 2 shot and then we're done. So characters that start out as weak in combat or weaker in combat can find plenty of opportunity to increase. Remember, in our longest running campaign, Changeling still holds that designation, even though we came pretty damn close with Montreal by Moonlight. Sophia started out as somebody who was incapable of dealing with combat.
Yeah.
Period.
And that was a really fun arc for her.
It was like hide. That was like your best option.
Yeah.
And you weren't even that good at stealth.
No. And so the idea of someone who's very good at stealth and thinks that that's all she needs, that's kind of exciting because now she has somewhere to go. Now, when she's super fucked up and is like out of the fight for a while because it takes forever to recuperate, like then suddenly she decides, oh, you know what? I'm going to commit my power into becoming tougher.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really interesting place for her to go.
Fector brings up a really good point. If you're in a bad position, you could use avoidance. And then
it.
what happens the time that you're like, I'm going to bail on this, and then avoidance doesn't work for you?
Exactly.
And then you get beat the fuck up.
Odds has a lot of hubris. She definitely thinks that she has everything she needs, that no one ever needs to remember her because she's above that shit, that she's better equipped to handle people's secrets than they are. I like the idea of her getting, like, humbled when it comes to hanging out with a super, like, combat gremlin like Blazing Chrome.
So, squishy, yes.
Yeah.
Problem in this game? No.
We'll see.
Well, because even problems are good things for us.
That's it.
After blinding the boar, what do we
Odds on problem. Privacy enhancing gesture. Speaking of expensive, it's 10 motes, 1 willpower.
Oof. But also mute.
Also mute, and it lasts a day. Roll manipulation plus stealth to secure an area within medium range from outside observation. Characters outside this area suffer a +1 target number on perception rolls to observe it, and must always roll to notice details about it and those within it, even if no roll would normally be required. Scrying, teleporting into it, or using magic to observe or intrude requires an attribute plus ability roll with the appropriate dice pool against the sidereal successes. If successful, that effect functions normally. If it fails, it is negated and cannot be reused for the rest of the charm's duration. And I can repurchase at Essence 3.
Oof.
Yes.
So this is essentially the cone of silence for all you get smart fans out there. And then when you repurchase it, it essentially means that you can use it on a larger structure and you can selectively exclude areas of that structure.
It's kind of like guest list.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All right.
Now we're into athletics. Forgotten Earth. It's kind of just monkey leap. The Sidereal can use a reflexive move action to jump one range band in any direction without needing to roll, which counts as her movement action. Alternatively, she can inflict +1 target number on a falling damage roll.
What?
So.
Oof.
Yeah.
Crap, sometimes I need to stick it out. Time to ox it up.
That's it, you know? Because right now she's like, fuck, like, you guys got this. You don't need me.
Blazing Chrome just makes you do laps around the ship to get your stamina up.
Like, that's fun. I like that.
I like that a lot.
I like the potential there.
And you have 1 charm left.
Okay, so this is one of the secrets.
Oh.
Secrets.
Oh.
Whoopie
It's a maiden
doopies.
charm.
And it's very long. I'm so sorry.
We don't have to go through the whole thing, but
Yeah. It's called Descending Secrets Horoscope. I misspelled something. Okay. The Sidereal rolls Manipulation plus Secrets ability, opposing her target's Perception and Secrets ability roll. This costs 1 mote for mortals, or 3 motes 1 willpower for others. Success inflicts misfortune on his efforts to keep or uncover a secret. A curse on a character's efforts to keep a secret grants -1 target number on rolls against his guile that would reveal it. Boy, it's really hard to summarize this one.
so essentially
It's
what
basically just I'm cursing someone to make it easier to pry secrets out of them.
yeah, or alternately, same thing.
Yeah.
You can curse somebody's efforts to keep a secret closed, or for somebody to discover a secret.
Yeah.
Yee. And this fits very well into what we're going to talk about next, which are your intimacies.
Hooray!
But yeah, this one's pretty complicated, so we're going to move on to the intimacies that you have here. Now, for intimacies, I'm just going to remind people of a few things, and we're also going to get into what the hell are these intimacies and how do they manage to affect the game as we move forward. The first thing is you have to have at least 4 intimacies.
Yeah.
You have to have at least 1 defining, 1 major, 1 positive, and 1 negative.
Can my -1 be a secret?
Yes.
Great.
I have asked every player to make sure that at least one of their intimacies is secret. It will not be available for the other players to know or the audience. I have confirmed them, and we've spoken about it, but it will come up in play, maybe. And the secret doesn't have to be a world-shattering, it doesn't have to be a massive thing. It can be small. It's just everyone's got a secret. Whether that secret is big or small, it's up to the player.
We are just Pretty Little Liars. We are the entire story of Pretty Little Liars.
All right, for your intimacies, let's take a look. Why don't we start off with your defining?
Okay. I'm better with your secrets than you are. Gimme.
Tell me about this.
We've touched on it a little bit already.
Yep.
The idea that she has her moral code, as strange and flexible as it is, she's absolutely convinced that because she's a chosen of secrets, her ruling on what should be done with a secret is the correct one. So
You were talking about hubris before.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So she wants the secret. And then when she has the secret, she will either share it, or she will keep it and take it with her to her grave, or she will see that it is no longer a secret and explode it, torpedo it. But she does feel that her ruling is better than someone's individual opinion.
Definitely excited for the companion book, but we're forging ahead.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So you are a chosen of secrets.
Yeah.
We've already kind of established that, but there is this arrogance that may or may not be merited about what to do with said secrets.
Yeah.
And the way that you've put it, you've written specifically, I'm better with your secrets than you are.
Yeah.
Gimme.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Odds believes that all secrets are potentially right for her to know?
Yeah. I think she feels that no secret is too secret for her. Because if it truly deserves to be kept hidden, then she'll keep it hidden better than anyone else ever has.
So is another defining principle you could have, the worst thing in the world is a surprise birthday party for me?
Probably, yeah. That's her negative tie.
Old Griffin asks a very good question. Do you think you're better with secrets than Jupiter herself?
She thinks that her ruling is Jupiter's ruling. Jupiter chose me. Jupiter trusts me.
So you are Jupiter's
Yeah.
tool.
Yeah, it's not an Arachne saying I'm better with a loom than Athena is.
Right.
It's her being like, Jupiter chose me for a reason.
You realize that there are 19 other chosen the secrets out there, right?
And if I ever
like it.
meet them, we'll find out who's better with a secret.
I like it.
But she's just like, oh man, like I'm a chosen with secrets.
All
It's
right.
what it's on the can.
It makes
written on the
sense to
can.
me.
Odds is a tool confirmed. Great.
Moving on.
All right. Don't presume to control the flow of information. Asswipe.
And
That's major.
The flow of information?
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. We're talking about Datafall, and it got me thinking, how would a Chosen of Secrets react to Datafall? I think in her mind, the more freely information flows, the more sacred a secret becomes. If only the big corporations are controlling chunks of net space, then like that means they get to decide what's disclosed and what's kept hidden, which cheapens a secret. So she truly feels that if everyone has access to information, if that's a freely, a freely distributed thing, then that makes secrets better. I don't know if that made any sense.
It makes sense to me.
But that's kind of what she's at.
So the concept is that you can artificially create a secret if you're the one who controls the ability to tell people what's going on. And it's not even then a question of, oh, I should tell someone or not. It's I can't tell someone, or I can. Or even if I'm trying to shout something from the rooftops, I can shut it down.
Yeah.
And you don't like the idea that other people can do this.
No.
And you don't even necessarily like the idea that you can do this because you believe that some secrets are meant to be told and some are meant to be destroyed.
Absolutely. That is, in fact, one of my intimacies.
So this
Or
does
I
make
should
sense
write
to
that
me.
down.
The fact that you've included the word asswipe in there says a bunch. And that makes sense to me. That's great.
Yay.
All right. Moving on.
That's it, Aramithius. You summed it up beautifully. The more free information, the more value a secret has. If someone wants something, I want to see it. This is a minor. This is essentially if I unlock an intimacy or a secret that says that somebody covets something or holds something very precious. It's not even that she wants it for herself. It's just that she wants to be a part of it somehow. It's sort of FOMO. But if you're like, defining intimacy, I love this donut more than anything in the world. I just want to look at the donut.
You want
I'm
to
like, hey,
understand
show
the
me.
donut.
Yeah. That's
Like
it.
oh man, those pens, I love those pens. They're
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to know why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But
Yeah.
it follows into your next one.
If someone wants someone, I want to meet them.
So is this the same sort of deal?
Yeah. I originally made it if someone wants someone, I want them, but that felt too, I don't know. I didn't like it. So now it's just that same, like, I just want to be in your orbit for a second. I think that's her kind of like weird, twisted way of like connecting to a world that she still sees herself apart from. Like, the world won't remember me, but I'll remember you, and that's important. I looked at this pen, I looked at this donut, I looked at this person, I spoke to this person.
Now, when you say originally that it was, if someone wants someone, I want them.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think that still applies sometimes?
Maybe. Depends on the NPCs.
Is there...
This is
If there's times of like, I want to understand why you want something. I want to understand why you want someone. All of that makes some sense to me. But the question is some of this developed out of avarice? Is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it I have to determine whether I deserve it more than you do? Or is it really just I need to understand the people around me and their wants and desires?
I think it helps her determine what to do with the secret. So if someone's secret is, I really love Aresta from Exalted Academy, but I can never tell her, then she's like, I'm gonna go meet this Aresta. Because if I determine that like the two of you would actually be a good fit, maybe I will decide that the right thing to do with this secret is to tell her how you feel.
So it's interesting because now you're stepping a little bit into the Serenity
A little
side of this thing.
but it's not. I feel like Serenity, and this is probably incorrect, but I feel like Odds' impression of Serenity is they're much more like pure-hearted. That they are like, for love.
And you're not necessarily.
Not necessarily, no.
One last question about these two. Is it specifically if somebody secretly wants something? Or is it just openly?
No, it's if someone secretly. It has to be covert.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually just put
Thank
secretly in here because that does make sense. If I say, oh man, I really want some ice cream right now, I don't know if then you have to immediately be like, well, I'm gonna see that ice cream first, motherfucker. Okay. The next one on here is not to be revealed.
That's right.
we'll skip it.
It's secret. I have my own secret. Minor. A rich fool and their money deserve to be parted. You came up with that one, and I like it a lot. We were talking about Odds' MO, and you were like, so she scams the rich? And I was like, yep. And especially if they're like, if she deems them, I don't know, unworthy, scummy, corrupt, an idiot.
So this is less, when I see this, then it's the reason why you scam fools out of their money. Is it because you deserve the money, or is it because they don't deserve it?
Because they don't deserve the money.
So that's a very
I will
important...
happily spend their money.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to automatically turn around and, for those following Nancy Drew, donate it to the 3-branch ranch in support of the orphans.
Right. The orphans.
We found out in the last couple of episodes that the 3-branch ranch has and has a home for orphans. So like
they're not free range orphans?
Like they have an animal department and an orphan department. Like it's really, they just threw this at us 3 chapters from the end, and we're all very confused.
So
anyway.
The idea here is if somebody is a fool, then they don't deserve to be rich.
Yeah.
And how high does that go?
I don't see her going out of her way to ingratiate herself super high up like a powerful family tree.
Right.
To fuck someone over, because I also don't think she would put herself in harm's way.
I mean, it's a minor.
Yeah, that's it.
This is not like...
That's it.
It's
I think she's more like an opportunist.
Okay.
Than a...
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then there's one other intimacy that I want to get into today. And it's the one at the very bottom of your sheet.
Yeah.
Because this one's special.
I'm about to disappoint Gil.
Compared to... Uh-oh.
I'm about to disappoint Gil.
Because this one's special compared to the other characters.
Yeah.
What is it?
Gold faction loyalty. Minor.
MacGyver. Explain to me what that means for you.
She had an experience at a point in her life before she exalted where I think she understood the importance of someone that society has deemed anathema to not be outed. She suddenly had a very strong impression that this secret should not have been told, and yet it was. And I think that shaped a lot of her worldview, and manifested itself quite strongly in allying herself, falling in with Gold Faction beliefs.
Now, the other two PCs have tendencies towards Gold Faction, but that they haven't, none of them have an intimacy.
Yeah.
You do.
I do.
Which means that you have a little bit more of an investment in this.
I do.
You don't have backing in it. So you're not like one of the Gold Faction.
Yeah, they're not giving me like an allowance.
No, or anything like that. But the fact that you have this as an intimacy, I think, is interesting.
Yeah.
It means that it's important to you, as opposed to the others who are curious. Gold curious.
Yeah. And I think for her, it definitely came from a secrets. Like, so much of her relates to how she interacts with secrets and what she feels about the sanctity of other people's secrets. Whereas with other secrets, she's like, oh no, fuck you, you don't deserve to have this secret, I'm gonna tell this person. It's just really interesting because I can't even necessarily say right off the bat definitively where her lines are. So it's interesting pinpointing some and going, okay, that's one that I can always hold on to when I'm concerned or confused about her framework.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're here, Confused Lioness. Hope that a state of confusion is one that you enjoy. Kofu Fenris says something that I very much believe is an interesting thing to point out. Bronze Faction was never meant for true PCs. Now, it's a little reductive, but a lot of role-playing games, especially in the White Wolf vein, storyteller, now Onyx Path, of course, for Exalted, is very much an idea that you are above, perhaps, the establishment, that you're beyond the establishment, that you can fight the establishment. And so, as a result, it is somewhat assumed that I think that a lot of these things are going to be, oh yeah, it is a bit more obvious that that player characters may choose to end up as Gold Faction because that means that they are specifically against. Now, important to also note, being Gold Faction doesn't mean that you love all Solars.
No.
Being Gold Faction is also, although for you it's an intimacy, it is not anything that it's not on your passport to you, Sean, right? Like,
no.
You don't, it's not like there's a role and we can see out of the 100 Sidereals that exist, how many of them are gold and how many of them are bronze. Right now, it's about a third gold.
Yeah.
But it's also not an official designation. You don't have to plant your flag, and you can change your mind.
Yeah.
The Factor, I think Kung Fu Fenris was just making a joke, to be honest. But there's also the important thing to note is that for all these intimacies, they are not meant to be straitjackets. We're going to talk about the concept of intimacies and how they relate to the game in a moment, but it's very important to me that people realize putting an intimacy on your sheet doesn't mean I will never do the opposite. It's in fact, I will be challenged by these. Sometimes your intimacies are going to be able to help you stop yourself from doing something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes they might be used to make you do something you don't want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The other things that we have left on the sheet before we start getting into the social stuff, we need your limit condition.
Right. Where did I write that? There it is. Okay. Limit trigger. An unforeseen enemy or complication poses an obstacle to the Sidereal's plans.
So as far as I can tell, this feels like I should have known.
Yeah.
I should have known.
Should have known.
I'm a chosen of
Damn
secrets.
it. Yeah, exactly.
The concept of that makes a lot of sense to me as a limit trigger. And limit triggers, if you have to act against your defining principle, if you have encountered your limit trigger, you'll build up your limit, and then celestial hubris will be yours.
Hooray! And she has plenty already, so this should bode well.
Plenty already. I'm gonna ask, do you need a...
I will take a quick break before we do bonus.
So go ahead. I'm gonna answer any questions that you might have about Datafall itself, or just any questions you might have in general. I'm just gonna be here while you just grab stuff for you.
Bright pink belt to represent the bum bag. Do you need any more water,
Nope,
my friend?
I am good, thank you.
What do you mean I missed a secret?
Fuck!
I can see her doing that.
Weirdness knows the table flips. That's just their thing. But yeah, this is your chance. Especially if I've missed your question because it scrolled up while we were talking, please ask it again. Very happy to help out or answer, just because I think that people might need to know. Does she have the strength of flip a table? Probably not. let's just be honest. Now, she does. This is fair enough to point out. She does have a 2 dots in athletics, and she has an athletics charm, which means she also has access to an athletics excellency. So a strength athletics roll could be boosted by an excellency. So she can sometimes summon some strength if she needs to for this sort of thing. But that's part of it. Now, Alfarius asks, am I going to do anything with the Gatimians and the War in Heaven? Because I really enjoy the fluff we've had for them between Essence and Crucible of Legend, but the lack of mechanics kind of kills me. So if you want to look into a Gatimian that I already introduced, you can go and watch one of our previous campaigns, Exalted Academy, which is available on this YouTube channel. Exalted Academy did feature one Gatimian. Spoiler warning for people who haven't seen a campaign that we played years and years ago. Yep, no resistance currently. It is absolutely a choice. And Alfarius, I'm kind of in the same place with that, in that I am okay with it having a Gatimian appear potentially, but I'm also, there'll be nothing more than a quick character. Without the actual written charms laid down, I'm gonna have to fudge it if I decide to introduce them. And I might. There is absolutely a chance that I might. I will also point out that in the context of Datafall, because this has been asked and I want to make sure that people know, alchemicals are not artificial sentiences, or if we're renaming them virtual intelligences, they are a different thing entirely. Their spark comes from their exaltation, as opposed to being an artificial creation that exists off the magical materials. It's just straight up an actual being created by the exaltation available from alchemicals entirely, right? Like Autochton is gonna, that's the thing. So yeah, Angelwick, you're correct. Yes, the Gatimian was without knowledge of what they are. That is true. You might have a Gatimian source that's a bit different. Well, yeah, robot body, human mind. That's very much a good way of putting it, weirdness. And that's what we are looking at. Our virtual intelligences in this game have a very much this is my purpose. This is the way that I was created for this. And so even though I have an intelligence, it's kind of focused around this. If you're created to be a toaster, you enjoy being a toaster and you're happy being a toaster, and you don't aspire to be anything more than a toaster because that's just who you are. Alchemicals are people that can be as varied as other people are. So, are chemicals a thing in Datafall? Not necessarily. Now, I'm saying this not to say that they don't exist. I'm saying that they are not like, oh yeah, they're everywhere in Datafall, in the world of creation. That is not the case. The core of Exalted is the core of Datafall. So they're not a known quantity for a large part of creation. but that doesn't mean that they won't show up. It doesn't mean that they will show up, right? I have certain things that I get to reserve for that. Do I see Autochtona having a greater role than usual in the cyberpunk world of Datafall? That's a likely guess, Aramithius, but again, that depends on if that's where we go. A lot of what this campaign is going to be is what's interesting for the players. And if the players are interested in seeking that kind of information out, then it's almost a guarantee that they will. But if the players are like, no, we're actually more focused on something else, then that might not come up. So I don't want to make promises in this particular instance, because a lot of it depends on how the players decide to direct the game. Gil likes AS for days. Artificial sentience as opposed to virtual intelligence. I mean,
I liked Osav's suggestion. Virtual intelligent personas. VIPs.
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 Imagine modding yourself so much you accidentally oops yourself into an alchemical exaltation.
So that's so possible.
Kinda cool. Kung Fu Fenris, that might be like, again, one of the things that I am going to say is that I don't reveal everything in terms of the campaign, because I do want to make sure that there's some history, but I also want to make sure that we follow where the players want to go. I have thought about that, but that's the thing. Now, in fact, Aramithius, they are starting in Wujian.
That's a little treat, a little tidbit for you all.
So there.
How do you like this voice for my character?
Old Griffin, yes, exactly. My players are, if not loot focused all the time.
Absolutely.
And if by loot you mean the romanceable NPCs, then that actually might
We
be
have
correct.
such a big ship. Obviously, we need to fill it with our little romanceables. Romanceables is the new collectibles. No, but can I say where Odds is from?
Yeah,
Because
of
I did
course.
say Kung Fu Fenris would be angry or would laugh. I wasn't sure which one he would do.
Go for it.
Odds is from Gateway. So that's happening. I'll just wait for that to come through.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will also take this as an opportunity to remind people just briefly. You do not need to have seen any of the other Exalted campaigns that we've run. It is not the same universe as Exalted Witch Nexus, Exalted Witch Academy, or if you're familiar with the other stuff that we've done, it's also not the same as Full Party.
Yeah.
So
Any like Easter eggs or callbacks we do are going to be purely like clin d'oeils.
yeah.
So just a little like hee, Gateway's funny because like Gale Whispered was obsessed with the game Gateway, and now she's from Gateway the city. Like that's it. That's literally it.
That's like the extent of what it's going to be, right?
Honestly, Kung Fu Fenris, I was reading the descriptions and I was thinking of one place, and then I read the description for Gateway, and that felt it had just enough of a seed planted in the book that I could like work with that, and so could John, but it wasn't so fleshed out that I got overwhelmed by pre-existing lore. So it hit a sweet
So
spot.
it's-
And for the lulls.
Yeah, the callback is a fun thing, but that wasn't the problem.
I wasn't like searching through being like, got a reference. It's in the west.
It's in the archipelago. In the
Yeah.
west. Where is Gateway?
It is
Which
a
explains
place
why
that
your
is.
native tongue is Sea Tongue.
Sea tongue. Indeed. Yay.
Do I need to spend me bonuses?
Sea Tongue. Yes, it is time to spend your bonus points. Now, you have 15 to spend.
Do.
As I've recommended to the other players, you probably don't want to buy charms with this. It's the least efficient way to go about doing it.
Okay.
But it is there for you to spend. Remember that you could not increase any of your abilities past 3 without spending bonus points.
That's right.
And some of your charms do have requirements that you have to meet, so let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with whatever you want to spend your bonus points on?
Okay, so I'm gonna spend 2 points to go up to dodge 5. I'm gonna spend 2 more to go up to stealth 4.
Oh.
I'm gonna spend 2 more to go up to archery 5.
Mm-hmm.
2 more to go up to socialize 5.
It's 8 spent.
Okay. 4 to go up to charisma 3.
3 left.
1 to go to awareness 3. 1 to go to archery, or sorry, not archery, larceny
4.
4. And 1 to go to investigation 2. There have been so many suggestions for lore and occult. I hear you guys. I definitely hear you. They weren't calling to me, but I might change my mind. Just this is what was calling to me. And I absolutely might later on be like, I regret my decision, and then John will let me.
Now there is a certain amount of backstory to your character.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that you've described leads me to believe that you may not be the greatest of students.
I would say that's very reasonable.
And not being a great student would imply that maybe you did not pick up on the lore of the occult that you should have.
Yeah.
Does anyone on the team have occult? I will check for you. Steps Retaken has occult 3.
Ooh, that's fun.
Blazing Chrome does not. And Steps Retaken also has lore.
I'm so intrigued by the lore occult. Like I know that they're both cast abilities, but yeah, like for me, larceny and socialize for her makes up for lore and occult. Yeah,
So for what it's worth,
but you know,
lore, as defined by the book, is your understanding of the world covering academic disciplines of history, math, geography, literature, science, philosophy, and similar scholarly pursuits.
yeah. She.
Maybe not
You
at
know?
the moment. The occult specifically is your instinctive facility for dealing with creation's mystical and otherworldly elements. It describes a rapport with the uncanny and things normally held beyond mortal ken, like gods, ghosts, demons, nature, powers. Occult is vital to the exorcist and the shaman, whose arts cannot be taught to those lacking proper sensitivity, and also to the sorcerer. Now, you're not a sorcerer,
I'm not.
but you are going to run into potentially a couple of problems.
Okay.
So I'm going to mention what they are,
Yeah.
because I don't think that this is a bad suggestion. I just don't think it's a foregone conclusion.
Okay.
You are going to be dealing with gods.
Mm-hmm.
If you have no dots in occult, you may not be great at knowing how they work.
Okay.
Your socialize is going to do some lifting for you there, but knowing, for instance, what the power of a god is, you just won't know. So
Okay.
if you are asking a god for a favor, you're in the dark. You will basically be like, I hope that this god can help me with this, but whether or not that god might be capable of helping you, or whether that god would be inclined to help you, you may not know. You might charm the pants off a god, but then they can't necessarily help if they don't know how or do not have that ability. So that's one thing. The second thing that I'll point out is that a lack of lore may mean that when you are giving your fortune teller advice,
Yeah.
or fortune teller information to people, you're lacking a little bit in what the world indicates for those things.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
So the idea that you would have one dot in a lore or occult might appeal for you along those lines. Here's the other thing that I'll say.
Yeah.
You can spend your first sessions experience
This is
and
it.
get those dots.
I was thinking about that because I could also spend. I could take one from bureaucracy and yeet it into, like, say, lore
Easy.
right now, and then buy up occult later. I don't know.
So right now you are more of a specialist.
Yeah.
What I see here, you have Archery 5, Dodge 5, and Socialize 5, which I will also point out in the world of Exalted, it very specifically, there's a sidebar that says, yeah, take 5s. Like, it's fine. Again, a lot of the power of these characters come from their charms and less from their straight up dice pools. So the
argument of this would have been useful in her fortune-telling scamming, that's most likely to sway me into wanting that dot or 2 dots at character creation, because she's been doing this for a while. She hasn't been fighting with people like Blazing Chrome,
right.
for a long time. So it makes sense that she would discover that she needs resistance,
Sure.
oxybody, whatever. But anything that would support her, like her hashtag con life, she should already have it.
So I might ask, why
Yeah.
do you have bureaucracy at 2?
It just felt like she would be good at talking to, like, merchants, bureaucrats.
Fair.
She would know the inner workings of corporations
That makes
and
sense.
stuff.
Makes a lot of sense.
Stuff like that. Doesn't have to be 2.
No, but these things are not, one thing that I am going to point out is that you don't have to be perfect. And I mean, you already know that. But if you think that bureaucracy is more important than lore or occult, then let's keep that.
The performance part of odds is to support her resplendent destiny disguise role-playing shit. She doesn't necessarily need performance 3 for that, because I don't have any performance charms.
But you do have a performance specialization.
I do.
Which means that if you take 1 dot out of performance, then you are still rolling 3 dice if you're in disguise.
That's true.
So maybe
Okay.
going down to performance 2
I
is
like
not a
this
bad
as an idea.
And then throwing at least 1 dot in lore or occult.
Okay, let's do. Let me go to my little thing here. Okay, we are going to take out 1 from performance, put it to 2. Then we are going to put 1 in lore. Then we are going to take 1 out of bureaucracy and put that in occult.
Now, thankfully, spending the experience to move from bureaucracy 1 to bureaucracy 2 is minimal. So I don't think you're gonna suffer
Yeah, that's
too
it.
much on that. That's not gonna be a huge issue for you.
Interesting. Great. So she has enough. This makes sense. She has enough to be able to bullshit, but she definitely didn't pay attention in class, and she feels it's not necessarily necessary for her role as, like, a chosen of secrets.
Yeah.
But she does feel that it's important when she's scamming people. Now we know that they are kind of one and the same.
So another way, if we're gonna go straight up min-maxing on this,
Yeah.
to increase your bureaucracy from 1 to 2 will cost you 2 XP.
Great.
In the
Perfect.
first session, you will likely get 8. To increase your lore from 1 to 2 will cost you 1 XP.
Awesome.
Same thing for occult or presence or sale, right? Like, it's very cheap to increase when you're at the beginning of things. So
We have a few people saying that maybe performance isn't even the right. But, like,
so if you want the definition of performance,
yeah, because let's really unpack whether performance is the right. Because I assumed creates a character, does a voice, creates a backstory, and is able to effectively portray another person, which to me felt more performance than socialize or larceny.
performance is the ability of influencing others through creative or artistic displays, covering both traditional forms of artistic expression such as music, dance, poetry, as well as rhetorical speaking through prepared speeches or oratory. It can be used to influence the thoughts and feelings of other characters through social actions. If you're using socialize, you're talking with somebody, you're interacting with them.
Yeah.
It's a one-on-one. If you're using performance, you're potentially on a stage. You might be able to rile up a crowd. You might be able to make a difference from a wide perspective. And yes, if you are trying to have somebody come into your net space, your fortune teller's abode, and you want them to feel like it's an experience as opposed to, I spoke with this really wise old crone goth baddie abyssal or whatever.
Yeah.
Then if you really want it to be like you come in and there's a rustle in the curtains and you can hear the echoing sounds of spirits whispering in your ear and they leave feeling like that was an experience, that would be performance. But if it's just you're talking to somebody one-on-one and you're trying to convince them of something, that would probably be closer to socialize, which I will tell you, socialize is not survival.
Oh, that's a good question, Old Griffin. Does Odd see her fortune telling as an art? Or
That
a
is a really
means
good
to an
question.
end? Ooh.
Socialize is a character's understanding of the social context in which she acts, encompassing both knowledge of decorum and etiquette, as well as how to use them to one's advantage in persuasion or manipulation. In formal social situations, such as an aristocratic court or a ritualized ceremony, the character can use socialize to influence the thoughts and feelings of other characters with social actions. Socialize is also used both to read the emotional tells or body language of other characters to discern their inner thoughts, and to conceal such tells on oneself, contributing to your guile. Now, socialize you have at 5.
Do.
Can't get any better than that.
Larceny's at 4.
Larceny is at 4, and larceny is your ability to create a disguise.
Okay, so, oh boy, this is gonna be a bigger. This is gonna be. Why do you guys have to be so like observant and logical in your suggestions?
They are only trying to help.
You're so like.
Larceny.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Larceny does help create an effective disguise,
Yeah.
hide evidence. So,
Okay.
performance is performance an art for you.
No, I think she understood what a resplendent destiny was and decided to go harder in it for her own gains. But I don't think.
So, performance being at 2
Yeah.
still makes some sense to me.
Yeah, but maybe I shouldn't have a specialty. Maybe it shouldn't be my favored.
That I think might be a smarter thing for you to look at, which means you can choose a different favored,
I know.
which would be pretty cool. So let's take a look at this for a second.
Okay.
When you're doing your fortune telling, is it a performance or is it an ability for you to go in one-on-one?
No, it's a means to an end, one-on-one.
All right, so it is
Yeah.
not as much as you might have.
She doesn't hire herself out for like bachelorette fortune-telling parties.
Do you think it's right to still keep
Oh.
1 dot, or do you want to just take it out entirely?
I think I would keep 1 dot. That's fine.
Okay, so we have 1 dot floating, and you think that maybe this would not be one of your chosen.
Yeah, maybe not. Because if I'm not planning on buying it up, it shouldn't be my favored.
And then performance
Exactly.
and disguise should go.
Exactly.
Okay. Which means you have a dot and you have a favorite ability.
And does that fuck with our math?
No,
Oh, good.
it does not.
Okay, good.
What it will mean, however, is that if you choose another favorite ability and you have a dot in it, you'll get that excellency,
Right.
even if you don't have a charm.
Okay, where am I gonna wish that I had an excellency?
I will point out that whatever you choose, you must have at least 1 dot.
Yeah,
Because this is a
of
favorite,
course.
not a cast.
Maybe bureaucracy.
Why would bureaucracy be a favorite ability for
Because
you?
everything else is covered.
Interesting.
Other than like, yeah, basically everything else that I foresee wanting an excellency in is covered.
So I assume I'm just going to go down a couple of suggestions. I think
Thank
that this
you.
is probably your best.
Yeah.
But presence. You don't want to be the kind of fortune teller who might stand and be like, ah, and
No.
everyone. Okay,
No,
so
she's
great.
not going to be doing possessions. Ideas.
Survival, throne, war, not your jam.
No.
Totally see that. Resistance, ride. You don't see her like going onto a motorcycle
She's already a horse, as we established,
is a
so
horse.
she doesn't need any dots and ride.
You're not curious about medicine. You're not curious about craft or brawl.
No.
So then bureaucracy could be a thing. It could be linguistics if you were interested in writing things down.
Or integrity. Integrity is the only other one I was thinking of.
So how important is your integrity for you? So like, how important is your resolve? Do you think that as you grow in this character that she might become
She's
more
gonna
and more
dig her
set?
heels in.
Because then integrity might be a good thing because it will be cheaper for you to buy it up. And you can get some charms and you can have, for instance, if you put it in integrity, then somebody tries to figure out, tries to change your mind on things, you can use your excellencies to bolster your resolve.
Weirdness makes a really good point about bureaucracy. Let's go integrity.
You're gonna go integrity?
Let's go integrity. And I do...
Do you want to put the dot that you have floating in integrity?
No, let's put it back in bureaucracy.
That's great. That's
Great.
what I was going to suggest. It means that you're good at bureaucracy. Bureaucracy 2 means that you are like, you could get a job as a bureaucrat, right? Like that's still excellent. And it is cheaper for you to up it now rather than when you're upping with experience. Experience integrity will be cheaper now for you to upgrade.
I love the suggestions about crafts, but that might be an idea she comes up with later. I don't think she's already doing her own. She's still a little baby scam artist.
Remember that XP for our game is going to be front loaded. So while the characters are Essence 1, they will be gaining XP at a higher rate than when they hit Essence 2 and then Essence 3. We're going to taper them off a bit. The reason we're doing this is because in the past, it's exciting to get XP in the start of the game, right? Like I can flesh out the parts of my character that were holes that I wanted to have them in. But then by the time we hit later things, Essence 3, Essence 4, we started finding out things like, I bought this charm so that I could get the next charm in the tree, and I never used it because I just gained XP too fast. And now I don't have any reason to ever use this charm ever again because I have something else. Now, Sidereal has less of that as a problem. But I don't want players to get to the point where they're like, I have XP and I have no idea what to spend it on because I've just bought everything else.
Because I'm just so good at things.
In terms of the replacement specialization,
Yes.
I'm thinking, should we just swap? Like, does socialize disguises work, or should we swap disguises to larceny and do socialize something else?
Can I recommend something?
I would love it if you did. That would be great. You always have good ideas, grifting. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Done.
Now, you could put that in larceny.
Yeah.
But I think that socialize, because grifting isn't just, right, like the idea that you're just like lifting something from somebody else. It's the idea of being, you can convince something of something that they don't need and don't want, but you're convincing them that they do.
Yeah.
Right? That's a grift. Anytime that you're trying to get somebody to do a thing that is not in their interest, but you make them think that it's in their interest, is a grift. So this actually has a lot of applications that could even go for really high stakes shit as well.
Perfect. That's so good. That's so good. I'm gonna grab this sheet from you afterwards and fix everything in here because I haven't been live updating. Wonderful.
So
Yay. Okay, thanks, folks.
Let's
That
go
wasn't as
over.
annoying of a-
Hey, this is why we've
That was
got,
really useful, actually.
That's why we've got our chat right
I would have
here.
been sad if I never made a performance roll ever.
Like, why did I invest so much XP?
Oh, fuck.
Fuck.
Let's take a look at your character.
Okay.
See what we've got. So for your
Yeah.
attributes, we'll zoom in a bit so that
did.
we can see the whole thing. Come on.
There's
There
sweet
we go.
angel chatters. You helped so
So-
good.
You are a mental primary.
Yes.
And you are a social secondary, but you also added to your social. So you're kind of like a hybrid mental
I
social
straddle
character.
socializing mental.
And physical, while you
Gentle.
are dexterous, you are not strong.
Correct.
And you're not particularly robust, but you're also not particularly frail.
Yeah.
In terms of your abilities, you've got some specializations here. Socialize, dodge, and archery are all at 5, and you've got stealth up at 4, as well as larceny. So you're very good at some things, and you're very not at others. You've got some 1 dots and some 2 dots, and a 3 in awareness, which is useful. Awareness is always a useful skill to have.
Yeah.
But you got some holes, and you're comfortable with that.
She has that on a t-shirt as well.
Okay.
It's what she wears every day. It's an artifact t-shirt.
Your specialization indicates that you're very good at things like grifting, stealing, and then disappearing. And in combat, you've got one specialization which will help you in terms of your ability to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
For your merits, you have your free ones, which are your backing, your resources, and your languages, and your martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
However, you also have quick draw and direction sense. But finally, you've got that big ass gun, which can fold down into a neon pink fanny pack.
Yay!
You have not altered your willpower. You
No.
are set at willpower 5.
I'm definitely gonna regret that. But that is one thing. I'm surprised no one's even brought it up yet, but that is one thing that I'm planning on buying early. Like,
So for what it's worth, let's just to
don't make
you
me
think-
re-math anything, John. I can't math anymore.
Willpower costs 8 per
That's okay.
thing. Now, if you're buying them with bonus points, willpower currently costs.
I know, but my brain.
I think that you're fine. Remember that 8 is at the beginning. 8 is 1 session.
Weirdness, that's why I messaged you to say weirdness is so wise. Because you said tall tale teller, and I was like, weirdness, you actually like nailed it.
Now, Scott does enjoy spending willpower quite a bit, but there is something else to remember. In Werewolf the Apocalypse 5th edition, you regain willpower at the start of a session. In Exalted, you don't. You regain willpower from things like sleep and stunting. So there are ways to recharge your willpower in the middle of a session. You can say, I'm going to go for, like, let's just sleep it off for a month and then we'll come back and I'll have all my motes and I'll have all my willpower and it'll be great. And that is totally valid. But there's no longer this kind of Scott playing the angles a little bit and being like, well, I can spend willpower because I'm about to get it all back because it's the end of the session. Can't do that.
I love how Scott's always the example.
Well, because that's what Scott was doing.
Yes, it is
it's very much, and I don't blame him for it because that's kind of what it was there for. And I'm happy to have people spend willpower.
Oh yeah, because if we just stunt incredibly,
then you get willpower back. So.
Stupendously. Sorry, Kung Fu Fenris.
The Phantom of the Opera Chosen of Serenity is just a character that I'll steal from my NPCs.
Your cast mark's actually on your cheek, so you can go like this and hide it. God, no. Don't see it. Oh, that's so good. Splendid.
Every once in a while, I just kidnap a guy.
No, you have 0 dots in no kidnap and not
I have
kidnapping.
0 dots in not kidnapping.
It's true. And then we talked about how many. You'd have 3 dots in kidnapping, I think we decided.
I prefer 0 dots in not kidnapping. I wake up one day and I'm like, there's another guy tied to my candelabras.
God damn it, not all my candelabras. That's the villain. Oh my god.
You can stunt just for the hell of it to get willpower back, but the way that we've determined it's kind of listed in the book, but there's a simple way that we're going to deal with stunts. In Exalted, you can add dice to your pool if you describe your action in a cool way. A level 1 stunt should be possible on basically every roll. It means that you're not saying, I hit him. It could be, I aim my gun carefully and I blast him right in the head. That's enough. It's just enough so that we're not just saying, roll to hit, miss, roll to hit, soak, damage, this. So 1 point stunts are easy. Those get you 2 extra dice, but it doesn't get you willpower. A level 2 stunt is something that everyone's just like, yeah, cool. Level 2 stunts probably will happen a couple of times a session, maybe once per player, right? Those are cool. You will regain willpower for that. A 3-point stunt is something that makes everybody pop off. The kind of thing that the table just goes like, and like there is no order is lost. I'm jamming the soundboard over and over again. In that case, that's a 3-point stunt. We might see one of those a session. About.
If we're lucky.
If you're lucky. And that, I'm not putting a limit on it. I'm not saying we've already had our 3-point stunt, but like it has to be a defining holy shit moment for it to be a 3-point stunt. And there, you can gain willpower over your maximum because you're that cool. So.
Damn.
I have to do a singing intro for my kissable NPC.
La 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 la.
I could do the thing that really pissed off somebody where I sang Music of the Night, but I deliberately got the lyrics wrong.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
Because it was literally, it was because the first time I heard it, it was those like misheard lyrics.
Uh-huh.
You know how that goes, right? Like you hear a song and you don't quite get the lyrics right.
Yeah.
And then I just kept it because I knew that it was frustrating, and I only did it a couple of times, but like I can totally just do that. Night time shining. Wait, what?
Oh,
That's not how it goes. Anyway, the Resplendent Destiny changes depending on what side of the mask they're wearing. Yep, perfect. Yeah, I can jam the soundboard over and over, Allison. Don't worry.
We could go to a masquerade. Easy.
Yeah.
Odds can steal some invites.
I
We
mean,
always have a gala episode.
You just want to have a gala episode.
Of course.
You didn't really get your beach episode in Werewolves.
No, we kept talking about it, but then the world was like about to end and stuff, so.
Well, beach episodes for Exalted would make more sense, seeing as how you're on a ship.
The beach is all around us. And I stole some sand from Euroskiro? Who would have sand? Who would
have some
Who would have
sand.
lots of sand?
It makes some sense. Moving on, your limit trigger, unforeseen enemy or complication poses an obstacle. Because you should have seen it.
I should have seen it.
We already know that your weapon very deliberately does not have the slow tag, and it is concealable. And we'll work on that, how it looks, what its name is, and what evocations might happen. We'll work on that later.
Okay.
Right? Some of this stuff is also, once we start playing, a lot of these things are going to settle in place. Intimacies are one of those things that change a lot, I find, in the first few sessions as people see what their characters are made of and how they want to react to things. Speaking of those intimacies, they're here. You are not entirely without morals,
No,
But-
I needed to find something.
but you are also specifically somebody who sees very little wrong with ripping people off, especially if they're rich, and you have that kind of arrogance about you of, well, I know best.
Yeah.
I should see this thing. I should know this person. So we'll see how that manifests itself moving forward.
Yep.
And also, if you flip off the Fae and yell, I am the sunset, yeah, that's a pretty cool stunt. I'm down for that. In terms of your charms, like I said, you are not combat pathetic. You are definitely not combat focused.
Yeah.
You've got a total of less than a third of your charms currently are combat, which is completely fine. But as people have pointed out, at the moment, you're a bit squishy.
I'm a little bit squishy.
You can dodge things, dodge them well.
But what happens if the dodge fails?
But what happens if you get hit?
Yep.
At which point you're going to need a ship's doctor, and currently you don't have that, as nobody in your group has any medicine at all. I think. I'm gonna just gonna verify that
Oopsie
medicine might be the new crafts.
Medicine and... Does anyone have crafts?
Yes, Blazing Chrome does.
Yay!
Steps You're Taken has no medicine,
A glass bum bag.
and Blazing Chrome has
Troyan
no
had
medicine.
like 3 medicines, so I'm just going off on a new path.
Yeah. So in fact, medicine is the new craft.
Great. Love this. I love this for us.
Medicine is a craft.
For his explosives.
Yes, he has his crafts for his explosives. His intelligence 1.
Maybe he can make me tarot cards. He can make me exploding tarot cards.
What are you, Gambit?
Yeah.
Technically, then, you would have the tarot cards. He's the one who made them, but Steps You're Taking would be the one to throw them.
Cut the deck before the deck cuts you.
Perfect.
Come on,
No
Shani.
notes. No notes. We're
Hooray!
we're cooking.
We are cooking.
How does this character feel for you?
It feels great. I'm excited. I feel like we've covered, back to the holes conversation, we've covered some holes that don't make sense, but then we've addressed the holes that do make sense, and I am comfortable with their presence for the time being.
Great. What this means to me in the end is we'll have to, just when we're done, we'll make sure that your lot casting attendee sheet will reflect what's on here, because
Yes, thank you.
when we go live, we'll be able to display information from lot casting attendee, some of it anyway, live as overlays on screen. So we want to make sure that that's as accurate as we can get it. I also know a bit about elements of your backstory which we have not covered here. Stuff that are
Secrets.
Got
And-
a secret, can you?
there's some cool stuff that I know of here, but there's also some things that I want to point out.
Yep.
All of the characters currently have at least sympathy or curiosity about the Gold faction. Sometimes this is important to have something that will unify each of the characters at the start. If every character has a different goal and they're all going in different directions and they're just thrown together by happenstance, sometimes it's difficult to make the group gel. Now, I know that there's other things that each of our 3 characters have. We're not getting into those because while they're not secrets, they're going to be revealed probably in like the first episode. So I don't want to give too many spoilers on that. But even though there will be some conflict and some disagreements and some clashing in terms of personality, I do know that there is enough here to make sure that this group is going to have a solid foundation,
Yeah.
which is important for us.
Yeah, we're pretty confident that our interests align in some very important places. And that it's not, I know we were talking about like friends versus acquaintances versus colleagues. One thing that we have noticed about our previous longer running campaigns is our 3 PCs do need to be like very much in each other's corners. Even if they disagree, they either start as each other's ride or dies or they become each other's ride. So we're very aware that their standing up for each other is a really important part of what makes one of our campaigns long running.
Nobody talks that way about my son
Yeah,
except me.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So trying to toe that line is really important to us and we're aware of it. So yeah.
Gil asks, you said for Troyan that you wanted the accent as an acting challenge for yourself. And is this something you want to do again for odds?
Yes, I have 2 voices that I am flip-flopping back and forth between, and I haven't decided which one I'm gonna do. We're gonna have one more practice session between now and the beginning of our campaign.
Which is next week, holy fuck.
That's it. And I think a few of us were gonna like try out voices to see, speaking of sustainable, if it's something that we can do for like 2.5, 3 hours without shredding our vocal cords.
Yeah, go into that a little bit, because you
Yeah.
had an interesting insight that I think would be interesting for them to hear.
So, Scott and I were chatting about this. I mean, we're voice actors, and we were talking about how, again, with our longer running campaigns, the voices that we choose are always voices that we can sustain. Like that's a common element in each campaign that's gone on for a significant amount of time. And that should be a sort of like, well, duh kind of thing, but we hadn't really thought about it until that moment. And that really informed us when we were talking about voices we could be doing for this one. Because sometimes people come up to us and they're like, I could be a voice actor, I can do funny voices, and then they'll do funny voices to us. But it's not just about that, because it's also, can you do this character sad? Can you do this character angry? How does this character laugh? How does this character have like a really sweet, small, intimate scene versus how do they do a battle cry? And it's all of those elements that makes a character more playable in the long run, as opposed to like a one-shot or a shorter campaign where you might be playing around with something that's more like of an archetype.
Can you maintain the voice for 3 hours?
Yeah.
Can you not only maintain the voice, but do you have to put focus on it?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the
Is
things
it going
that
to stress you out?
Yeah.
Every time you...
This is one of the things that I would point out for actors. If you're ever in rehearsal with non-professionals, now this is not meant to bag on someone who isn't a professional, but it's one of the things that I think sets professionals apart, is that if you are in rehearsal and you don't know your lines, so much of your mental process is remembering your lines, remembering where do I go on stage, what do I do, and that is the kind of thing that then immediately starts detracting from your performance, because you're no longer living in the moment, you're living in the actor's head of, fuck, what do I say next? When do I say it? How do I say it? Where do I go? What did my director tell me last night? Am I hungry? Right? Like all of these things build up. And in role playing, you don't know lines, but you are improvising. And you are thinking about where you want the story to go. You're thinking about, how do I interact with the other players? How do I interact with the storyteller? And we have the added layer of all of you on our chat, which you can't see me pet the chat, but I am petting the chat.
He's petting you.
And that does put an extra layer on it. And if it's a voice that you can do effortlessly because you don't have to think about it, great. If it's a voice you have to focus on and concentrate, go and check Exalted Academy and go look at Seven Figures. If it's a voice that is hard for you to do, or it's a voice that you feel self-conscious about because you know you're not doing it properly,
Yeah.
that's tough.
But like also in the same breath, challenging yourself can be a lot of fun.
And so I think like one of my favorite things to do when I'm leading up to a first session, but I'll even do it like while a campaign is going on, is I like just talking to myself as my character out loud. I'll just do a little monologue about things that I believe in or what my moral code is and stuff. And you can find moments, subjects that get you more fired up, and then you can practice the voice in that stance. Or you can just like read a book out loud as a character. And that's a really good way of pinpointing the holes in the voice that you've identified. And like maybe you can come up with solutions, and then that can be a really cool voice for you. So yeah.
Allison, heavy petting is with consent only. Eremetheus actually reveals a very good thing. A voice can be part of your actual voice, but it also could be part of a resplendent destiny.
That's the idea.
That makes a lot of sense
acting
too.
Challenges, that's what I want to do.
One of the things that I recognized was that I burned through a lot of the voices in the first two campaigns. And I realized there's only, like, I can sit down and I can start working on other voices and all that, but sometimes a character comes up and I have to just choose one right away. And it can be difficult to sort of patch together, how do I make sure that this character doesn't sound like an NPC that I've played in a previous game, especially an NPC that was quite distinctive. If I started speaking like Zister Flex...
that was the first one I thought of too.
If I started speaking like Zister Flex, everyone's going to not think of this new character. They're going to think of a previous one if they'd watched the previous campaign. And the player certainly would think of that character. But at the same time, you have to be a little, gentle with yourself. Not everybody has access to 400 different voices that they can phrase. And a good way of doing this is a trick that Hanna-Barbera voice actors used to use, which is that you find a noun, and then you find two descriptors, and then you morph them together. So, for instance, I could say, I am a granny, but I'm also punk, and I smoke. So what would a smoking punk granny sound like? I can realize maybe I'm going to need more vocal fry, maybe my lungs are shot, but if I'm punk, then maybe I've got a little bit of a sneer, a little bit of an attitude, and if I'm a granny, I have to start speaking a little bit more like everything's just going... Now, I'm not saying that's a great voice. I came up with 3 words at random, but for your characters, think of a noun, 2 descriptors, put them together, what does that sound like? And for Resplendent Destinies, that might be a thing that you'll have to do.
Yeah.
Deborah Ann Wool speaks about this at some point. She's a storyteller of some renown as well. More than me, by far. But she's awesome.
Yeah, it's Resplendent Destinies is such a cool thing to do because, like, I also know, John, that if I create a Resplendent Destiny and I choose a voice for it, and then that voice just, I'm not feeling it, but like, I'm not gonna kill my Resplendent Destiny. I might just speak to you and be like, is it okay if I swap out this voice, but we can say that this is the same character?
But you can do that for your base character as well if you wanted to.
You can always just use your word hole, talk to the table. No one's gonna judge you if you want to change a voice. If it means you have more fun, that means we get to play for longer, so it's actually a win. Yeah. Hooray.
But there are definitely accents out there that I have to think when I do them. And so therefore I have the advantage that if I'm a storyteller, I can swap characters whenever I want. I can have a character have an accent, but then have that accent kind of, they'll say what they need to say, and then I can narrate whatever the hell they do, and I don't have to worry about speaking about it for a while. I can take breaks. Players don't necessarily have that as an option, so they have to be a bit careful when they choose their accents.
I mean, I've done some variation of a British accent, RP accent for like a lot of my career. And there were still moments during Montreal by Moonlight where I would say a word and go, that wasn't it. But like you just rally and move on, because if you take yourself out again and again, then it just becomes like a struggle, and then Like that's no fun.
Yeah, especially also when you get somebody say, well, you said one word differently than what I'm used to, and so therefore your accent is terrible, and that's not...
There's also
really
regional
the case.
dialects
Yes.
too, and thanks to cyberpunk and the world of creation, we're like, ooh, it's not exact because it's a different world. Woo!
So
that'll be
that's stuff that we can pay attention to.
Yeah.
So we got 30 minutes left, and I think it would be a good idea for us to go over all of this social stuff that we were talking about earlier when it comes to your intimacies.
Hooray!
So, in Exalted, there is physical combat, archery, thrown, melee, brawl, martial arts, able to take people out. Your initiative climbs as you build up momentum, and then you spend it in an attempt to really just deliver that one decisive blow that can knock someone on their ass. But how do we do that socially? In Exalted, social actions are important in a different level, because as much as we as a group enjoy the act of role-playing, of just talking things out, stuff like that, a lot of the abilities and charms in this game specifically play in a system. And I don't want somebody to say, well, I'm not going to buy any social charms because we never play with social roles anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So we have social actions. Tell me about what intimacies mean.
Intimacies, you can consider them as weapons and shields when it comes to social combat. So if someone is trying to make me act against a lunar, let's see, there's a lunar right here, and someone's like, "Killer, come on!" And they're maybe trying to persuade me to do this. I can defend against that because I have a minor tie of loyalty to the gold faction, and lunars would fall under the gold faction. Or under the, yeah, that umbrella. So that's as like an example. If I don't have that tie, then like there's other ways that you can resist social influence, but like this is fodder. However, it can also be used against me. If somebody reads intentions, I mean, this is a big deal about odds. She reads intentions so that she can manipulate people, so she can scam people, so she can find out more about people. So, I mean, social combat or social actions can involve instill. Please correct me if I'm missing one. Instill, which is giving someone a new intimacy or strengthening or weakening one of their existing ones.
I'm just going to close the window.
Sure.
There's a thing. It's the recycling being put out.
Maybe we'll list them and then
Sure.
we can go into more detail
So
with them.
intimacies, as you said,
Yeah,
right? It's something that you can use to
instill. Yeah,
guard against, and it's something that can be used against you.
yeah,
Instilling is giving somebody an intimacy.
correct.
And it's also a way to strengthen or weaken somebody's existing intimacies. If I look at odds on favorite and I am an NPC who wants to influence her, I might not like the idea that, for instance, she has a rich fool and their money deserves to be parted. And I can try to use an instill action to get you to make that less important for you, even to the point where it can fall off your sheet. Intimacies, in fact, just for what it's worth, can change. The player can decide to change intimacies, add intimacies, remove them, or change them, as long as they can justify them, at least the way that I play. I would rather the players not just like swap their defining intimacy every session, but again, there's changing because it happened in game, and there's changing because you realize, oh right, my character shouldn't have done this in the first place. I'm fine with retconning. Retconning is good for your games. Just do that. But other than instilling, which is adding or changing somebody's intimacies, you can also do other things with them, like persuading. So what would persuading be?
Persuading is trying to, I think it's always trying to convince someone to take an action.
Yes, it's an action or a task.
It's an action or a task, and you can strengthen your argument by using their intimacies.
Yeah. So the extent of what you can ask them to do is based on their intimacies.
Yeah.
So if it's if you don't have any intimacies that apply, then the most that you can ask is just like a very, very, very small favor, the equivalent of begging somebody for a single coin. A minor intimacy could be like an inconvenient task, something that they don't really want to do, or it might be mildly dangerous to them, but it's not that big a deal. A serious task, you would need a major intimacy to exploit, and a life-changing task would mean a defining intimacy in order to make them deal with that. But there's another kind of persuade, and it's a bargain.
Bargain is more of the exchanging of goods and services in order to make someone or to get someone to do something for you.
Yeah.
So I could be like, hey, John, you love pens?
I sure do.
I've got this gorgeous pen. It's an orange jade. I'll give it to you if you get me into this gala where everyone wears Phantom of the Opera half masks.
Essentially, bargain is, I don't know your intimacy, so instead I'm going to do money.
Yeah.
Or a favor.
That's true.
or
So
an
I shouldn't
action.
have mentioned the pens. You enjoy the finer things? Here,
Well,
have
no,
this
that-
necklace.
No, a pen would if you know that I like pens, then the bargain is probably worth more. Mm-hmm. Right?
That's true.
You can't, if you try to bargain with somebody and I'm like, odds, I want you to give me all the information that you have about your circle mates, and in exchange, I'll kill everybody in this town. Well, if you don't want me to kill everybody in this town, it's not going to work.
No, I'm good, fam.
But if I say, I will give you an upgrade to your gun,
oh,
now we're talking.
my gun!
It might be a little bit better. And then there's one other kind, aside from persuading or bargaining, and that is threatening. Threatening is, instead of I'm going to give you something you want, it's I won't do something you don't want. Which could be, but it could also be blackmail, extortion. It could just straight up be I trip you down the stairs. So these are all things that play with the idea of intimacies, and whether or not those intimacies apply can give you bonuses or penalties to the initial roll or resisting. If you have a high resolve, which, by the way, you, by buying your integrity up to 1, means that your resolve will only improve once you add more integrity. Your resolve will improve, and therefore you'll be less likely to have to go along with whatever somebody's suggesting.
Susceptible.
But if I don't want to directly deal with your intimacies, I could also do something like inspire. Inspiring is about inciting emotion. It's about rabble rousing. It's about getting somebody to feel happy or sad or angry or enraged, at which point they might develop temporary or permanent intimacies as a result.
Mm-hmm.
But then, at the core of it all, there is read intentions.
Yay!
What are read intentions?
Read Intentions is a fabulous little role. It's perception socialized, and it allows you to uncover people's intimacies. So, Aragorn was very angry with us in Exalted Nexus because we were really bad at remembering to read intentions. It was a new system. That's my excuse. It was a new system to us. But, in theory, Odds is going to be doing this all the fucking time. So, hopefully you'll be actually sick of it by the end. That would be nice.
There's two different things that you can do with read intentions.
Yep.
First is, what is your intention for the scene? Like, the answers to those could be, I'm waiting until I can be alone with Odds, or I am trying to distract this person. That's what happens if you're just doing a plain old read intentions to figure things out. You can also ask a question. And that is how you determine intimacies. Like, hey, does Odds love anybody? How does Odds feel about X? Is Odds somebody who finds this important? At which point I'll answer, or in this case, because it's you, you would answer. And that way we would be able to try to suss out an intimacy. You can't just say, I want someone's intimacy, unless that's a specific effect. You have to ask about a thing, and it also has to be reasonable that you could determine that. But reasonable is a little bit tricky, because you are exalted. You are godlike in your powers, which means that you can notice if somebody is eating a sandwich, but you notice that their eyes keep gazing off into the distance and they get a wistful look in their face, that might be enough to determine he's in love. It might not necessarily say he's in love with who, but that could be enough. But there does have to be a little bit of understanding that in the scene, there has to be some sign. That sign can be minor, but there has to be a sign. And you asked, who was it who asked? Was it Requiem? Yeah. When reading intentions, you need some lead up, a reason to read intentions. Yes. So that is the case. But there's a lot of things that you could potentially see. You know, you're sitting at a banquet and you're looking at somebody and you notice that every once in a while the king glances over and is glaring at somebody across the hall. That might be enough for you to read intentions and be like, how do you feel about that guy?
Odds might tail someone for a few hours and see that, like, when they go through the market, they really linger at one stall and speak for a long time to the vendor there. And she might then read intentions based off of them lingering or something like that.
Exactly. Now,
which is good because she's a little creeper.
She definitely is.
She be creepin'.
So, now if you're rolling against somebody, guile, by the way, is the way that you prevent somebody from reading your intentions, which is another static value that's based on the abilities that you have. Your socialize being so high means that your guile is going to be excellent.
It's pretty sexy.
Now, you can resist influence rolls. It is possible. Just because I succeeded at a roll doesn't mean that you automatically will do what I ask. Yes, there are charms that let you read intentions without those requirements. Yeah. So, even if your resolve is overcome, you can still have a power to deny the influence. If it's something that's trying to change how you feel, like creating or destroying or changing my intimacies, you can spend a point of willpower to stop a new intimacy from being created, stop a major defining intimacy from being weakened, or reject a successful inspire action. So you can just spend a willpower. Now, remember, 5 willpower, while that's the default for Exalted, is still quite high. A lot of humans don't have all that much. And you can wear somebody down over time. There's also decision points. Resisting successful influence to make the character do something is trickier. If you fail to resist with your resolve, you enter into a special state known as a decision point. So give me an example, if you would, of you trying to convince me of doing something.
John, I think you should help me rob the library because libraries are full of great books. I love books. We should take them.
Okay. Now, let's say that my resolve has been overcome because you're that awesome. You roll well.
Awesome.
Now, I now enter into a decision point. I can go along with it. Okay, I'll do it. That's it. Going for it. But I can also choose to resist. And if I do, I have to choose an intimacy and explain how it justifies resisting this influence. But what I choose has to be of equal or greater intensity than the intimacy that you used to convince me in the first place. So maybe you convinced me by saying, books are great. And I agree, books are great. But that's a minor intimacy of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But now I have a major intimacy, which is, you shouldn't break the law.
Yeah.
I can say, great, I'm spending a willpower, and I am, I'm using, I should not break the law to resist your influence. Boom. Done. I can resist at that point. The problem is that if this happens again, if I'm convinced again, if she finds a new argument to get in, by finding another intimacy to exploit, I can't use I will not break the law again. I've already done that for this particular persuasion, for this what they call a lengthy debate. So I might have to then say, okay, well, my defining intimacy is I hate librarians that cry.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
And
Right.
robbing a library would make them cry.
So that's a way for me to continually put up resistance. The thing is, if I run out of willpower, if I run out of intimacies to defend myself, and if I have enough intimacies that odds can exploit, eventually I will be unable to do so. I will go along with it because that's how I've been convinced. There are things that are called unacceptable influence. Typically that's like if you ask somebody to go directly against their defining intimacies, where you can just say, no, I won't do that. So unacceptable is if you're targeted by unacceptable influence, you can reject it outright without spending willpower, even if your resolve is not normally high enough, which is basically any persuasion attempt that doesn't exploit an intimacy, any instill action that doesn't exploit an intimacy, a bargain attempt which fails to offer a properly enticing incentive, and any influence that would cause a character to kill themselves or do something that he knows would result in a certain death, and any influence that would cause a character to completely abandon or end one of his defining intimacies. So there are ways to resist. Mm-hmm. And I will also point out one thing which is a safety rule, which is the red rule. The red rule is kind of, we sort of have it as a given in our games, but it's worth mentioning here because of how many charms exist that can really manipulate somebody. Do you want to give the rundown, or should I just read from the book?
I'm sure the book will say it better, but I just understood that the red rule is basically that no character can be made to be like can be made to be put in a sexual situation without their consent.
Yep. The reading from the book, which for the record I do not agree with and I've modified, is a player-controlled character can only be seduced or otherwise put in a sexual situation if the player is okay with it. Otherwise, any such attempt fails automatically.
We made that all characters.
Yes, because it does say at the bottom, groups that feel comfortable in doing so should allow player characters the full range of their seductive prowess when entangled with storyteller characters, although remember that the storyteller is also a player and their boundaries should be respected, which to me just says all characters should be protected. All players, including the storyteller, should be protected by the red rule. Yeah. So this is one area in which I can say this character has made a very compelling case for you to get down. But if you, Elizabeth, decide you do not want to do this, it automatically fails.
Yeah.
Right away. No questions. I cannot in any way claim, oh, no. This guy's charms are amazing. You totally have to bone. Doesn't work. Now, if you want it to work, either because you think that it would be an interesting role-playing experience, or because odds on favorite would be like, hell yeah, it goes ahead.
And I will also say that we've kind of incorporated under that umbrella the idea of there's no such thing as like surprise conception.
That's right.
For a like if my character is going to be surprised, it's because I, Liz, consented to this. And the same thing happens is for John's NPCs as well.
Yeah.
Which is why we don't have the merit of selective conception, because it's already kind of baked into
it's
the
a
loaf
given
for us.
Selective conception is a merit that is well intentioned but has some strange things for it. Secret babbies are not the same thing. Whenever there's a secret baddie, I would talk to the player first and be like, are you going to be okay with being a father or a mother or a aunt, uncle, whatever? And if they say no, it doesn't happen. Period. The idea of selective consumption in consumption.
I'd like selective
There's
consumption.
There's conspicuous
as well.
consumption as a merit in Vampire, which is like you can eat and drink.
Oh.
like immediately puking it up.
Ah, you can have a Schwartz's
Yep.
smoked meat sandwich.
That's right. So the idea of the red rule is great. I would just modify the red rule by saying any character can only be seduced if their player is okay with it. I would say that for storytellers, if you know that you're never going to let anyone get seduced, you should tell your players so that they don't buy all the sex charms, because they do exist. But
So many. Dodging them on the socialized tree was like...
because there's also a big difference between some players I know are very jazzed about the idea of a story where like, yeah, like I had this one night stand with this hot guy and then it turned out to be my enemy. That might be great for some players, and others might be like, oh, but that's like lying by omission and I don't feel comfortable with that and I don't want to have that, so I don't want it. And that is also completely fine. So that is another instance in which I will absolutely retcon something happening if it turns out that somebody is like, yeah, I sleep with this guy, and the person like betrays everybody and someone's like, oh, but that's icky. If that's not a storyline you want to do, it's gone. Period. But if it's a storyline you want, I'm happy with it. But selective conception also has a rule that says that if you can bear children, you can spend a point of willpower to automatically conceive, and I also think that's kind of like, that's weird.
It is.
It's weird, so I don't like that. So all players get the benefit of selective conception, except really the only thing that matters is they can't get pregnant if the player doesn't want to, whether they are on the receiving or giving side of fluid. Oh, that's right, Eremetheus. It's when you need to eat organs as well as drinking blood. Sorry. You're correct. Yeah, there's also the infertile flaw. That's the thing. Is it a flaw if you don't want kids? Gelding is one of the scars that exists in the core, which is like basically if you take enough damage to die, you can say like, no, I don't, but I get a scar, like a permanent scar that stays with me. And one of them is like, yeah, and now your junk doesn't work anymore. You are either infertile or you just literally can't have sex. And part of me is like, okay, well then I have one get out of jail free card.
My goodness.
So
my gracious.
It is very important to have these rules. It is part of our safety for this campaign. And we've already kind of had our session 0. We've had our character creation sessions. If we've updated any of the lines and veils that we have, we'll make sure to let you know on the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to keep checking in for those things. Yeah, red rule. Good rule.
It's a very good rule.
Yep. Look it up. It's on page 222. Now, do you have any questions left? Do you have any questions left for Elizabeth about odds on favorite? Or, I guess you could ask questions of me, but
Yeah, you sure can.
that's up to you.
You already made a ruling about Resplendent Destinies, so that was really helpful.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
We could. Yeah, sure.
So, we have we had a couple of questions about our views on Resplendent Destinies. Can you have a Resplendent Destiny that has a name or a backstory and all that? And the book says you don't have to. Rules as written, Resplendent Destinies are described as follows. As he goes in here. That's Arcane Fate. Where's my Resplendent Destiny crap? There it is. Sidereals shield themselves from arcane fate with resplendent destinies, mystical cover identities drawn from the themes and archetypes of the constellations. A resplendent destiny isn't a specific individual or even a fully fleshed out person or persona, but a loosely sketched out role or stock character. A sidereal might seem to be a fisherman, but not Yasa the fisherman. A resplendent destiny doesn't change the sidereal's appearance. Instead, those who interact with her mentally fill in details that cause her to seem like a soldier, a tax collector, an arrogant dynast, etc. This is true, and all of this still applies in the game. You don't need to have a name. You don't need to have a persona.
But
But you can, if you want. For Sidereals, Resplendent Destinies is the only way to dodge Arcane Fate. Well, the only really accessible way to dodge Arcane Fate. And so if you want to have a Resplendent Destiny that will incorporate things like a name or a backstory so that you can have a relationship with somebody who isn't Sidereal and hope that they can avoid Arcane Fate for at least a little bit, you're allowed to do that. You can do that. It puts you at risk. The more details you add to a Resplendent Destiny, the more likely it is to fray, because it's harder to get your facts straight. It's harder to know whether your backstory is going to incorporate things that you don't actually know all about. Because also, if your Resplendent Destiny is too close to your real person, that's one of the conditions in which your destiny can fray. Just right off the bat. So, yes, you can. Because part of what I want to see in this game is the tragedy of interacting with somebody and being like, I can steal a few moments with you, maybe days, maybe weeks, maybe months, maybe years, but at some point, inevitably, you will forget me. And the person who I was with you is somebody who is not the real me.
I think that's so cool. I love that as an element to explore in this game.
Yep. Fector asks, any martial arts are you interested in taking in the future, excluding Sidereal martial arts?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even read through the martial arts in much beyond a skim, because nothing jumped out at me much. And then John was like, well, you could just wait until you qualify for Sidereal martial arts and then decide at that point. And I was like, that sounds great.
Part of
so
it
I'm
was
gonna
you wanted to be an archer.
I'm gonna focus on archery.
Yeah.
That was one of the first decisions I made about this character, was that I was gonna do, because Gale Whispered was thrown and Ray was brawl. I haven't done melee, but I started with archery and then I worked my way out. So that's what I wanted to focus on.
Then we have other questions. How long have the PCs been Sidereals?
We had said a few years, right?
A couple years.
Yeah.
No more than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're backed by Fate itself, so you don't have to put in as much effort into them. That's completely right. But you can if you wish. How long does it take to change a Resplendent Destiny? Could you lose a tail by dropping one and donning another? It takes a scene to create a Resplendent Destiny.
Yeah.
And then to use one, you can don a Resplendent Destiny as a miscellaneous action, but you can only do that once a scene. You can drop one. That's easy. That's a reflexive action. But you can't, in the same scene, have one and then change into another.
John brought up a good point when I was talking about, oh, like, what if Odds is in a fight with someone and she's wearing her Resplendent Destiny, but she wants to be forgotten at the end of this fight? Could she just ditch her Resplendent Destiny in front of this person? And he was like, well, that's something that would make it fray.
Potentially. Fray is a roll, right? Like, yeah. There are very few times where it will be automatically guaranteed that it'll fray. But if you are a Destiny in front of somebody and then you let it drop directly in front of them, that gives them the, hey, wait a minute, I thought you were this and now you look like something else, and that can potentially fray. Depending on if it's a mortal, if it's a lot of people who witness you do this or just one, these can up the odds of it fraying. But dropping a Resplendent Destiny directly in front of somebody when you're already interacting with them can be a dangerous thing to do. Destinies are not meant to be robust. They have fragility to them, and protecting them, for some Sidereals, very important. For others,
it's also worth noting that you can destroy a Resplendent Destiny by doing some kind of like ritualistic ending of it. So say my fortune teller lady has a little shawl that she wears, and I'm like, ooh, too many people know that she's full of shit now. So I might set fire to the shawl and yeet it off the back of the ship. And then anyone who'd ever interacted with her, she would vanish.
Yep.
That Resplendent Destiny would vanish from people's memories.
Something that I think Odds-On favorite really likes.
She would like that, yes. Well, this little biatch.
Are Sidereals, even bronze factions, in danger of the Wild Hunt? Yes and no. But the real answer is no, because knowledge of you as a Sidereal is hard to come by. Knowledge of Sidereals in general is already very hard to come by. And then even if you know that Sidereals exist, being able to prove that someone is sidereal, very difficult, especially because you'll forget. So, technically, they could fall under the Wild Hunt in that they're not dragon-blooded, and so they are potentially operating outside what people should have, but they're not really nearly as under threat of the Wild Hunt as Solars Lunars. Is there a cost to Resplendent Destinies? They're not a background, but are they bought with XP or something? It costs willpower to create.
And there's a limit to how many you can have.
Yeah,
it's
it's
essence
essence
plus 3.
Yeah. A flaring enema and showing a cast mark is more likely to get you confused as an exigent than identified as sidereal. Yep. Right? Like, people will be like, that's and also, exigents can potentially not be subject to the Wild Hunt. You can fast talk your way out of that. Yeah, non-dragon-blooded exalted who aren't Solars and Lunars aren't necessarily kill on sight. Exactly. They'd be more likely to be like, who the fuck are you? You better come with us.
Oh, you wouldn't arrest old granny, would you?
Oh, fuck.
Get your hands off me. You fiend.
So, if you have other questions, throw them into the Discord.
Yeah.
It's easy to join the Discord. We're there. We're answering questions. If there's a question that we have not answered, ask again. And you can even like wave your hands and be like, hey, I asked this before. Apologies, we do have other things that we're doing in the day. We might miss it. But we now have 3 characters
Oh my goodness.
for the beginning of Datafall. Pretty cool.
This is so exciting.
So, what's happening this week?
Fantastic, Kung Fu Fenris. It's amazing, because now John has to answer me, even though he usually does anyway. What's happening this week?
Fuck.
We may have a Method Madness on Tuesday. We're doing a little vet checkup for our youngest, our little gray kitty. No. So depending on how quickly that goes, might happen. Then Fry Dog, there should be Punchy. Then Satterdog, there should be Doomed. And there should also be Drew Crew. So in theory, all systems go.
This would be the part where we look at Kate. And
Yeah.
Kate would say,
And join us next Sunday. Or
not Montreal by Moonlight anymore.
no.
Next Sunday at 2 p.m. 1400 Eastern Time, Eastern Daylight Time at the moment, will be our first of Exalted Datafall. I would recommend that if you can make it, great. If you can't, the VOD will be there for you. And we don't normally put out calls to action like this, but I'm going to ask one thing. If you think you know a bunch of people who might be interested in watching an Exalted campaign, a Sidereal campaign, or curious about the idea of it being a cyberpunk shard of either of these campaigns, let people know. Not because we're like, we need more viewers, but because it's cool to see new people show up, cool to see them be interested. We have plenty of stuff to watch in the backlog, but hey, it would be fun to have people get in on the ground floor. So if that's something that you feel like you want to do, whether it's a community that you're a part of, whether it's just 1 or 2 people who you think might be interested, toss them a line. We'd appreciate it.
Exciting.
This is happening.
It's really. Hey, thanks Kung Fu Fenris for your mad moddage.
Absolutely. And I am thrilled that all of you could have been here for this.
Yeah, and you gave I really genuinely appreciate your feedback and your suggestions. Overwhelmed Liz math brain aside. It's so helpful, thank you.
It is a thing, unfortunately, with character creation.
Surely we're never gonna come across that again with our Exalted dice pools. Never. Never.
Folks, thank you for being here. We'll see you next week for the beginning of this campaign, but until then, we're going. We'll see you next time.
Bye.